Yeah, totally, man. Totally. All right, I think we're actually ready to jump in. Do you think we're ready to jump in?
Ready to jump in.
All right. And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me, Davo Hardy, feature film director. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ross. Pleasure to be here.
Man, I am got to say, man, you are making splashes all over Western Sydney doing what you're doing, man. And you have a cool tattoo.
Thank you. We're all in the Splash Zone, and this was a design of my own. I heard from my last time seeing your show that you liked my ink, so I thought I'd wear a short sleeve shirt in the middle of winter to show you my ink.
Yeah, man. Well, it was on your promo, actually. Yes. It's on your promo material. That's where I saw it.
May as well pull it out.
Yeah. Whack it out, man. Whack it out. Let's just get into shameless plugging straight away. Straight up.
I'm 1 minute into the show. I'm already, what do we call it? Whip it out.
Hey, Jay, can you get rid of that OBS for me, though? Can you get rid of the OBS for me? Yeah. Send that away.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, man, yeah. So it's a little bit of a graphic sort of a promo. But straight into, Public Eye.
Yes.
Showing at the Chevelle Cinema 9th of July.
9th of July.
$25 a ticket, totally worth it. I've definitely seen cuts of this film and the promo that we had at Made in the West promoting it. And what inspired you to do the film? Like, why this film? And what's sort of the origins about what inspired you to do this film?
Well, I'd been influenced by a lot of European cinema from as film school, so I've been studying the craft of making film from about my late teens, early 20s. Mm-hmm. And by the time I reached my 30s, I thought, I'm ready to make something less mainstream, but also very important. So the best way I can describe the creation of Public Eye was I wanted to make a film which dealt with sexuality and dealt with the human condition, but also make it smart. And so I had the idea years ago, but it took me a long time to find that little je ne sais quoi that made it like, this is actually an intelligent film about sex.
Yeah, okay. That's certain something, okay. Man, because it's a confronting film, for sure. Like, just seeing snippets of it, it's a very confronting film. It's, we don't want to give too much away about it, obviously, but what can we say about it?
I did a podcast with Cinema Australia, which was done before the film came out, but it went to air afterwards, and they spoiled the fuck out of it. So
did they? They took all the cream out of the biscuit, sort of thing.
A little bit,
yeah.
But no shade on them because they knew it was going to be quite a big splash, and it got that. But by the time this goes out, I'm sure it'll be late enough that we can spoil some stuff. So by all means, go ahead.
Okay. So it's about this dude that does something that's a bit abrupt online. Is that right?
He masturbates.
Masturbates online, and it goes out to everybody.
Yeah. So it's based on that fear of we all have something online, either our home address, our phone number, or something a bit more
regretful stuff.
Yeah, something a bit more personal, like your sex tape. And all these things give people the anxiety of what if someone sees this, what if someone knows about this. So by no fault of his own, quotation marks, it leaks out to the world. And the initial response from people is, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing, man? You've just put out this, graphic content. What were you thinking?
But also, he works in children's television, so it's a really bad look for him professionally.
Oh, so this thing turns into like that's right. It turns into this PR problem, right?
So his first step is to be like, oh, come on, dude, we all do this. We should just lean into it and kind of downplay it. But no, when someone gets their teeth into something and they see an angle to screw up someone else's life, they just go at it.
Well, is something like is it sort of like I don't know. The gist I got from like the promos of it looks like because I'm totally going to come to the screening of this.
You'd better.
9th of July at the Chevelle Cinema. It's a Palace Cinema as well, right?
It is.
Yeah. No, great venue, by the way. Great venue. It's a film that looks something like, maybe a comment on cancel culture.
Absolutely.
And sexuality itself.
Yeah.
Especially the fluidity that is out there and the recognition of all of this through social media, and that's where, this sort of thing happens. But I must say, there was some parts where I was quite shocked. I'm like, wow, that's racy, man. It's a pretty racy film.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of something for everybody. There's a very intellectual speak about a cancel culture and why we use social media, how we use it for that kind of validation and all those subscribes and likes.
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe, by the way.
Bullseye.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a great one. Thank you, Davo.
Pleasure. But then also the other side is behind the scenes in our industry, where we are but people, and we have our faults and our flaws and things we don't really want all of our followers to know, but we can get doxxed, or we can have content of ourselves leak, which we don't want to have out there. And it's kind of just bringing both of those things to...
Yeah, well, the doxing's an important part that it's not really spoken about either. So what is doxing?
Doxing is when, like, your home address or something just as personal...
personal information gets out.
It is made public knowledge. So your home address is like the number one example of that. With something which not every YouTuber wants to have on display. So
no way. Well, that's why I got a PO box, man, straight up. That's the first thing you do is when you start doing these sort of things, get a PO box.
Absolutely.
Because you need that anonymity. It's important to have that anonymity,
which Public Eye really puts its focus on. So it finds that need for anonymity and the fear people have around maintaining it, but also the pressure on not just people in the public eye, well, credits, but just in life in general too. Like, you're having a salad, take a photo of it, Instagram it. You're having a good day out with your partner, take a photo. It shows who you're with, where you are. Just these little things that do kind of make a footprint online, and you can sort of dox yourself if you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most famous ways that people have done it, especially when it was a new sort of technology, was putting their credit card details online accidentally in a photograph. You know, they may have had their wallet in their hand and their credit card is sticking out, and they've just given out their credit card to everyone online. Yeah, there's certainly cases of that. But I think as well, doxing is certainly something that is weaponized a lot as well online. I think there's definitely two sides to online. Like, we want to be all connected. We as humans, we all want to feel human connection.
We all want to connect, and we all want to touch on those things that we all have in common. We find our tribe, so to speak, and with putting Public Eye together as a story, that was one of the elements that I really wanted to focus on, was that the character Elliot, he doesn't do anything wrong. He just is found doing it, which is, for a lot of people, the worst thing to ever occur.
Yeah, an embarrassing moment that's just out there. That everyone would do. Yeah.
And then for most people who aren't a celebrity or having any kind of public face, that's as far as it would go for them, and they would, okay, well, that was pretty horrible, I won't do that again, and they'll just one step at a time move past it. But when you're in our industry, these things come back to haunt you.
Well, they're part of your public persona, right?
Yes.
Because you are your business in a way. Like, you're a public face of your business. I think that's starting to shift. That paradigm is starting to shift in society. Especially with media being accessible as it is, the amount of platforms that we have to express ideas and to put up notions, or to protest, or to persuade, change minds, or just actually prank and be silly as well. With misinformation. But I guess the other side of the internet is that targeted misinformation as well, or that targeted surveillance. Like, there's the dark side of what we are doing, and I think there's these two movements. There's the industrial military complex that wants to watch and see everything that we do, and including our most vulnerable, embarrassing moments. But there's those that want to connect us all together and put music in everyone's pocket and make us interconnected, like Instagram itself, right? I think the reason that is so popular is because a picture says 1,000 words. You can photograph a piece of salad at a right angle in the right restaurant with the right backdrop, and you can say a lot. You're talking about your social status. Like, here I am eating this salad that obviously cost this much in this venue with this view with this backdrop. This is where I am right now, and how good am I? It's a flag up to feed into that narcissistic idea of, look at me, aren't I awesome? You know. And
then moments later, you head home to your one-bedroom apartment where you are having your microwave dinner. And you get on Pornhub, have a wank, and then it's not for you. And that is the duality of being having your online persona and your real life.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's kind of like, back to Instagram, man. It's like, that's your photo album, right? But I know there's so much power out there to be had. Like, no one thought that Instagram was going to be a thing. Like, no, there's no prediction behind that. Like, you can even even though social media wasn't predictable, even along social media streams, you can still predict things that would happen. Like, Facebook is your newspaper. Twitter is your megaphone.
MySpace is your ghost.
Yeah, MySpace is your ghost. That's awesome. I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna run with that. But these platforms are basically children of large media.
What's your OnlyFans though?
OnlyFans is definitely, I don't know. That's a good unpack, isn't it?
You're After Dark.
You're After Dark. Yeah, there's different ways to describe that. I think After Dark's pretty good.
A platform as well. I'm like people have their platforms of
but
YouTube.
A multi-platform though as well, because
Yeah.
there's the obvious of what you would think of OnlyFans, but
Yeah.
it actually does more applications, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but again though, it comes out to that subscription base. Oh, geez, I'm spilling everything everywhere.
I'm making nervous.
You do, you certainly do. You got me on the ropes. Davo. No, there's that certainly. Actually, now you have put me off. Like, what was I talking about? Shit, I lost my train of thought.
Platforms,
that's right. We've got all these different platforms that we can access, but OnlyFans is that subscription base, right? It's that Patreon idea.
you make money off what you do.
It's a meritocracy, right? So it's based on what content you have and its desire of purchase. With YouTube, you can just flood anything on YouTube. Like, anyone can go down a rabbit hole on YouTube and go, how is this content even content?
By the way, hello YouTube, good to see you.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're on. No, well, speaking of platforms, the Spotify audience, man, is the one that's going bananas.
They can't see me wave though.
Yeah, no, they can.
Cool.
It's video on Spotify. Total video on Spotify, man.
I'm a dinosaur, aren't I?
Yeah, man. Well, I think they sell ads if you don't subscribe to Spotify, because you know how you pay for Spotify, right? If you don't subscribe to Spotify, I think they put ads on my podcast. I don't get any of that.
Oh, let them.
I can monetize it. I just don't have the numbers yet. I'm not in the higher rankings. Like, when I started podcasting, actually, I was saying this a couple of weeks ago. When I started, there was 1 million podcasters out there, and that was about 4 years ago. And now there's like 3 million. So I was really stoked that I was in the top 900,000. So I'm in the top third of our audience reach. I think I venture towards maybe 50%. Maybe I'm still in the top 1.5 mil. Who knows? Who knows out there?
Humble brag.
Totally.
Just humble brag about it, Russ.
Indeed, man. But hey, man, you had some other films though.
I certainly have.
Prior to Public Eye.
Yes.
What was your first feature that you did?
My very first feature, going back a long ways.
See if we can pull this up.
gosh, okay.
J-Man. But actually, before you do that though, just a big shout out. I got J-Man as the producer tonight. He's doing very well.
Thanks.
There we go.
There we go. He's now part of it. He's now stand-in for the day. I've got another protege showing up soon, so watch this space. But first feature film.
My first feature was The Lives We Lead, which at the grand old age of 25, I was an old man before my time. I had this moment of realizing that everyone who I went to high school with, because that was your center of the universe for a long time, it
was the only universe, really.
They were all buying houses, having kids, becoming manager of their chosen profession, and reaching these milestones. And here I was
talking about this today. Yeah.
I was out of film school for a few years. I was working a 9 to 5. And I just thought, damn, like, I need to do something.
It's a strange spark, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that spark you're talking about. The way that you said that, I know what you're talking about. I have to do something. And you don't know what that something is.
I had
but you got an inkling.
A good inkling, because I always had the yearning, the wanting to be a filmmaker. It was just, it was a mix of...
How? What?
The confidence to do it, because people like to tell you when you're
Courage,
young,
yeah.
especially like, oh, you're not ready yet. I'm like, but I am ready. And then...
Of course you're ready.
What's the right project to get started on? And I made a few shorts prior to my first feature, obviously. But I thought, what's the feature which I want to really say something with? And I think that's become a bit of a through line of all my work, is it all not only gives an insight into my head, but also has something to say. And I think the point of Lives We Lead was it has two sisters. their male counterparts, and the two sisters, they lead each other's lives in a way. So you got one who wants to be really successful and famous and happily married. Got the other who just wants to.
Yeah, the template of life. I get what you mean. One wants the template, the other one wants to go off the beaten track. Yeah.
And then kind of like doing the opposite, just by either out of spite for each other or just by misadventures, because of life will break what doesn't bend.
That's pretty complex. That's a pretty complex foundation, man. Wow.
For 25.
For 25 at your first film, shit, man.
And
but this is out of film school, though. You've done film school already, and you've done a couple of shorts.
Yes, I graduated when I was like 18, 19, and then at 25, I made my first feature. So that, for that like 5-6 year period between, I was working a 9 to 5, kill me. But that had to be done to sort of build up some life experience, some backbone, and to say I've worked, I've paid my taxes, now I go off and do what I'm put here to do. And I haven't stopped since.
Yeah, well, that sort of transition sort of stuff is interesting to me, man. Because like myself, like I've lived different lives. So like you've been a filmmaker for how long now? You're in your 30s.
So almost 10 years.
So 10 years, right? So I've been filmmaking for 10 years. I've made like maybe 8 shorts. But I don't know. I guess it comes down to that life experience idea, right? So you were talking about like doing the 9 to 5 and getting that life experience, because there's a lot of emotions in 9 to 5, man. There's the grind.
Certainly was the grind.
Yeah, but that's the umbrella that we put on it.
Yeah.
But there's more to it than that. There's way more to it. You have to.
Because the grind
the have to is where that leads to that connotation of grind, right?
And the outcome of, I've got the money in the bank, I can afford what I want to get now. And it was a bit of a slow start, but that was... I've heard it said that having a slow start is what leads to like a more sustainable...
Slower growth is more stable, yeah. I've definitely experienced that. I definitely have. I started with a camera and a backpack, and slowly migrated to like a small home studio where I can do multiple tasks, right? With the Pagey train itself, man, like all the equipment here, I take on the road and do, work for other people. But this is the way I do it. The way I do it for other people is nowhere near as cool as the way I do it, because they don't ever want that product. They want a corporate product, or they want this clean, clinical product, and that's what I build. And I don't know. That's what pays for what I do.
Are you happy in it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I prefer to do creative work that's of something with a narrative, something with a heartfelt narrative. I certainly got my licks in that doing music, like being in bands, and I certainly have that very similar experience in film crews. So your cinematographer, guitarist, like they're interchangeable. Like personalities are interchangeable. Director is a lead singer. You know what I mean? Like they're the ones that are like really pushing it out there.
The face of it.
They're the face of it. And the same with the writers are kind of like in the same space as well, depending on the configuration.
They're doing the drums, because without the writer, you just don't have that rhythm. You don't have the bass line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in different configurations, I'd be the drummer, but I'd say as well, the person that builds the soundscape is also the drummer. The editor is the bass guitarist. You know what I mean? Like they are an introverted person that doesn't like to be a public face. They just want to be in the background.
While we're on this analogy, let's put a shout out to all of the gaffers and the best boys out there, the ones who put that small triangle in the back of the orchestra, who are so important, even though they're not as big a cog of the whole machine. But it's so thankless.
Yeah, totally. They're hidden artists.
So do you guys? Cheers.
Yeah, they're hidden artists, man. Like it's the same with even editors, man. Like they're hidden artists. Like a lot of people talk about big directors, but they don't talk about the editors that are behind those big directors
who really make the film.
Yeah, because they have just as much as a say in the visual language of that film as a director does. Like, don't get me wrong, a director could be really stringent and say, no, I want this here, and you've got to follow this storyboard. They could be like that. But that's not how art's generally created. It's generally a negotiation between artists about their input versus what the holistic view is. Because why would an editor want to edit your film if they don't get to have their je ne sais quoi in it, if they don't have their own certain something in it? If they don't have that, why would they want to be an artist? Because then they're just painting the wall to specifications because that's craft, right? I think there's a difference between craft and art. And I think the question that you were asking before is like, am I happy? And I think that leads to, are you happy doing craft? Because most of the time, people like us are happy doing art. Because craft pays better than art sometimes, but sometimes you can have a windfall with art.
Craft versus the grind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because the craft is, I can go and shoot an interview. I can go, whether it's two footy players that are going, we're a cinematographer short today. I heard that you can shoot. Can you come and shoot a two camera interview between an old footy player and a new footy player? That's a standard gig.
Yeah.
Pretty standard gig. Doesn't require really any artistic output at all. Like, you need to understand the compositions of framing and, color correction, sound balancing. These are artistic traits, but essentially what you're doing is just a trade. It's a craft.
And you mentioned those as elements to the overall picture. So bring it back to Lives We Lead. This was when I didn't really have a lot of...
Can you look up Lives We Lead? He's got it up there. Hey, Jay, can you play that, man? Play that and put it on mute while we're talking. Make that up there. I hope that dog's not coming through. The dog next door is going bananas.
He just wants to be on the podcast. But with this film, I hadn't done something of such a big scope for color grading before. So this wasn't my color grading. This was another person's who I outsourced. And I think that was kind of the theme of making this film was it was me writing, directing it, but had all these people like the cine and the sound.
It's gorgeous though.
Were people who knew their stuff and were kind of giving me this sort of mentor by proxy. So I've gone through other cines and soundies in projects since.
Oh, dude, this is great.
But this one for a first feature, I was just so proud of because it has that polish to it.
Oh, dude, it is very well polished. Like, look at the grade in that. That's a great grade. Can you zoom in a bit more on that, Jay, please? That's a fantastic grade. Like, look at that. Like, that's lovely tones, and as well, the cinematographer's done a banger. Mm-hmm. It's a banger of a job on the cinematographer.
That's Rob Greaves. He was the cine for that.
Big shout out for that, man. Like, this is very well done. Oh man, let's see. Yeah, I love that stereo. Yeah, see, that's quintessential right there.
Oh, there's me before the tat.
Yeah, it's before the tat.
A little naked boy arm.
Yeah. No, this is very quintessential Aussie as well. Like all of the bricks that you've picked on locations and look at that table, man. Like,
Most of this was shot either in Granville or mostly out west, to be honest.
It's a well-exploited aesthetic. You guys have done a great job. Like, look at that. That's great.
But the film...
Sounds a simple shot, but like, well conveyed, you know what I mean?
And the film covers like 50 years of these two ladies' lives. So you get to see our foray into age makeup, which was half the fun because that was half the budget. But making lives was... for a first film, it was, start to finish, a great experience.
Oh wow! And what was it like acting in it though? You look like you've done a pretty superb job there. It looks like you got a bit of chops, man.
Oh shucks! I actually took out of the four roles the least interesting, so I wanted to be in the main quartet, but not the lead because that wasn't my energy. Still isn't.
Bang out of there, Jay. We out or in? Yeah, bang out. Yeah. Right. He's my first timer. He's the first timer. Sorry, I'll cut you off.
That's okay. But yes, I wanted to show how to acting chops. So on like the second, third day, because we shot the whole thing effectively in reverse. So I did all the aging stuff first because that was again where all the budget went. So we shot.
Interesting. So you had to go to in your mind, you had to go to the end.
Well, we had to...
You've got to anchor that sort of stuff as a performer, right? Because you've got to get your head around it.
Yeah. We had to turn a cast of 4 25-year-olds into people in their 50s. So we were all in this thick latex makeup, looking like we were twice our age or even older.
Jeez.
And that was in the first few days because that was when we knew that this would either work or not work as a project.
I suppose, it is the weak point, right? Because you can be like, as you are, right? And as your age, in the start of the film. But if you don't get the aging right, I've actually seen it go wrong for people where the aging hasn't worked. And it let down, like there's one film in particular, I won't say who, but a very lovely person. And it was a great film too. It was really well performed. It had all of the the hallmarks of what you want in a short film. It even had an arc, so a start, and a middle, and an end.
Had a story, God.
Yeah. Oh no, but like, dude, doing Made in the West, man. Like, don't get me wrong, man. Like, we get about 70 to 80 films a year.
Yeah.
And there's always 10 films where you're like, oh man, I don't know what to say to you, bro. I want to help you, but I don't know if you'll hear me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's some people that I reach out to, and I go, dude, if you just retweak this, you've got there's 10 things to do, and you're doing 7 of them. Here's the other 3 things you got to do. Do that twice, and then come back.
Right.
You know, and even if you want, like with some of them, I go, flick it to me, and I'll have a look at it if you want, and I'll tell you. You know, but I can't tell them too much. It's awkward. You can go, man, that may have a shot.
There's also that thing of like sometimes you just gotta just step back and be like, this person is on their journey, and I can't lead them.
You can't. You can point it out though. You can go that
the
there's
lives
a part
that
of the
we
path.
lead, Ross. The lives that we lead are the lives that we have to focus on.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, I know. But I am a proponent for the tide rises all boats. I really am. You can go so far. You can go so far. I have time sometimes, but sometimes I don't have time. Like if 80 filmmakers said to me, "Can you critique everything about the film and tell me why it was accepted or why it wasn't?" Even that's more work than the festival itself, right? But I'm definitely someone that would encourage artists and be direct, very direct about their work.
In my experience, film festivals don't tend to tell you why they either do or don't take your work. They just say either yay or nay, unless you kind of pay extra to have that critique. But when I was making this film, I was a blank slate, so I had made shorts and had a lot of creative criticism about those. But for a first feature, this was very much me saying, I hear you, I'm not ready. I hear you that I'm only young and I don't know enough and blah, blah, blah. But I kind of want to do this, and just let me have fun with this. And so I didn't really have any influences from outside. It was really a very self-contained project. Took us maybe a month to shoot, and I was able to, in my own space, put it all together. And I think it was just that unspoiled gestation that made it what it was. I'm very proud of Lies Related, you can tell.
Oh, dude, just looking at the cuts there, man, like beautifully produced, well shot. Just from the body language of the actors there, like you've obviously, like, it's not something you've done flippantly.
No. It's
a targeted approach. It's certainly a targeted approach. Actually, I'm going to go check it out after the show. But that's the things that I do. But that was your first film.
Yeah.
Where I just love that though. I love it when people say, when I see an artist and I go, someone has told them that this is not your time. You're not ready for this. And then they go and shoot something like this and then put it on a screen. That blows me away. I go, that's the blade cutting the edge, and that's what we got to do.
It was actually a bit of a gamble because I was working with a producer at the time for another project, and he said, I want our product to be the first one that you do. I want to debut you with this. But I just was not feeling it, and I wasn't feeling his energy, and I wasn't feeling the collaboration. And I just said, basically, like, I love your work, and I love what we could do together, and we will do something, but it won't be my first product. This is what my heart and soul is in. And he was so butthurt by it that it was like, I can't believe you wasted this big opportunity on lives. To this day, I think he's fallen into obscurity, and that's just...
Oh, well, we've been talking a bit of French
Blessed.
tonight. Is it bon voyage? Is that the right term? Bon voyage?
I'm sure there's something a bit stronger you can say, but no hard feelings.
No hard feelings. I'm just joking. But man, like the artwork says for itself, man. It speaks for itself. You
gotta
can't
go with your heart.
It's not deniable. You can't deny it.
No.
There's things that are deniable, and there's those that aren't. And man, looking at that work, like fucking hell, bro, it's tight. It's fucking tight work. You can't refute it. But yeah, certainly that's a head turner though. So what about your next project? This is obviously leapfrogged you into your next project. What was your next project?
After Lives, I
Can we look at the subject?
After Lives, all this sort of attention, and people were like, "Who's this guy? He's really really something here.
That's pretty prolific though, because it's a
Something
feature
like-
film, dude.
Yeah.
It's a feature film. Like just for our audience, man. Let me just put it into context for them, because people talk about it all the time. People may listen and may watch and go, "Oh, this guy went out and made a movie," or "This guy went out and wrote a book," or "This chick wrote an album." And they go, oh, "Okay, that was enjoyable. That's great," because we're a bit content rich, right?
Yes.
We're content spoiled. And there's an expectation that is on image, that's an expectation that's on sound. There's an expectation that you go, well, how hard can it be? And I think a good example is when you're walking through an art gallery and you look at a Jackson Pollock, you go, how hard can that be?
It's splatter on the wall.
Just splatter on a wall. How hard can it be? But then when you investigate it, you actually realise that there's quite a lot of nuance to it. There is more to what seems simple to you as a viewer than what is on the backdrop of making that art. And I think film's a great example of that. And especially, and this is what I say to people, man, you got to understand that film is the intersection of most art. There's not too many spaces that other art doesn't intersect with it. You've got sound design, music, performance, directing, lighting, cinematography, editing, soundscaping, even ADR, man. For fuck's sake, anyone that's ever tried ADR, I'm telling you, it's a fucking art.
And the catering, always catering.
Yeah, but again, that's the further backdrop of it all. That's something that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about that. You brought it up before. The gaffers, the people that are helping a camera run along a track. They're
the little duck's feet where on the duck's back, thinking this is a great view on the lake there beneath us.
But on the sweat and blood of someone else that understands that this is compromised, and I can't compromise this moment. I need to be able to be on point, and they need to find the finesse. That finesse is where the art is, and film is an intersection of all of those things: set design, costume design, color correction. It goes on.
Which is why it can't be a one-person show.
It's not. Having
all those moving parts, having the right people to be those parts is half the battle. But when it works...
Oh, dude. But that's what a director is. You need to understand these components.
Yeah.
I don't need to be able to sew a dress to understand, to look at it and go, that looks nice, and that will work well in the scheme of the rest of the holistic theme of what we're working on. But you have to understand that I can't make that thing. I need you to make that thing. I'm
currently in development of a period piece. So we look at...
fuck, bro.
It's time to do something that big.
That sounds epic, man.
It is. It will
Don't
be.
you have enough shit to do?
Never enough shit to do. No. I would say I'd rather wear out than rust out.
Yeah.
But no. But because I'm a film director, and it's very important to me. I'm looking at waistcoats, those white Edwardian tops that ladies wore, and I'm like, oh, the lace on that one is all wrong. It is so Victorian era. What's the one after that?
Yeah.
These minute details that people just don't give a fuck about. But as a filmmaker, I'm like, people are going to notice. There's going to be one person in the audience of 500 who's going to be like, that's wrong. And
but everyone hates that, especially about historical stuff, right?
Oh yes.
See, one of the things I love watching online is those historical unpacks of an expert talking about explosives in film, or talking about weapon usage in film, or talking about medieval armor in film, whatever the forte. Love watching that unpacked. Because for myself as well, when I watch films, because I understand how fire and movement works, I know how battlefields work and battle spaces, and the proximity is always too close. Battles happen 600 meters apart, 1,000 meters apart. There's no way that two people would be that close in jungle warfare. It just doesn't work that way. And when I see those things unpacked, especially by an expert, you go, oh yeah, I can see the logic behind that. But what people don't understand, right, where the gravel meets the tires, right, is you got to compress things in film. You've got to tell 5 things with the images that you have. So, when you're watching a film and you go, I wouldn't have done it that way, because why would those two people have that conversation at that time where serendipitously they found this information on this desk at the same time? It doesn't make sense. But you go, as the writer and the director, you go, but I needed to get these 5 concepts into this space because those 5 concepts are into a more complex idea, which is more entertaining than the little snippet that I needed to get you there. It's a segue. It's a compression of time. No film is shot in real... Oh, no, actually, it's not true. There are films shot in real time.
Yes.
But very few between. The Nick of Time is actually a good example. Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken. Go and check that out. But there's not many films shot in real time. We need to compress time. And that compression creates degradation around the suspension of disbelief.
When I was at film school, we watched United 93, which was one of those 9/11 films, and it was real time, close to.
Do you want another beer?
Actually, I have some Prosecco if you'd like some.
Do you want a Prosecco?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck, bro. I didn't know. I should have got glasses.
I bought glasses. Want some
Oh, you got glasses? Oh, man, break it out, bro. Break it out. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'm watching.
This is one of the coolest podcasts I've ever fucking done, man. This is great. Oh, look at these glasses.
I'm glad I kept them.
Look at this shit. You got this there, Jay? Look at this bad boy. This is how you do it, kids. This is how you do it. When you come into the Pagey train, fucking come prepared. Like, holy shit. This is great.
So
I'm having a ball.
So there I was watching 93, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, "Oh, this film's boring. It's so slow and so
Just chuck it there before.
you know, so impersonal."
The cleaner will get it.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, that's me.
Jay,
Jay will do it too. He's such a... I don't know what the word is. You know, it's annoying. It's annoying, but I love you.
are you ready for the soundbite? You ready?
Soundbite, let's do
You
it.
ready?
Oh,
Come
is
on.
that Dave? That's Dave. Woo!
Here you go.
Oh, we've got a big tradition in this house. When you hear a cork go like that, you go, woo!
Woo!
So if my wife cracks a bottle upstairs and I'm down here and I hear it, she'll get upset if she doesn't hear the woo. You got to hear the woo. Yeah. Man, what the fuck are we talking about? I got so distracted that you've rocked up with fucking champers, man. Oh, it's not champers, it's Prosecco. It's the same deal.
Prosecco-
Italian version of it.
Prosecco is the Pepsi to
To Coca-Cola. Man, I was thinking this the other day, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, man. Are you gonna have a rocking out? Oh, you're just gonna rock right out. Jesus. Did you get that, Jay?
Yeah.
You caught that? Jesus. We're getting proper.
Nobody
We're
parties
getting
hard
proper.
like Davo hard.
Yeah, Jay. Well, some people rampage, but I Ross Page.
Like it. So yes,
Fucking cheers. Let's do this.
my second film, Hunting for Shadows, was me having
What was
all
it?
these
What was it called again?
Hunting for Shadows.
Hunting for Shadows. Check that out, Jay,
Now
man.
this was, and I've made this very public, so it's fine.
Oh, man, we're going down a slippery dip. Here we go.
This film is that child that no one wants to talk about in the family. I'm not proud of this film as a piece because
Why's that, though?
it is the conglomerate amalgamation of all these people in my ear telling me what I should be doing. So it is not my genre. It is not my style.
Oh, wow, you're pissed off about this, man. I
It
can
is
see it
not-
on you. You are pissed off about
I'm getting
this.
more pissed about it.
Yeah. No, but I can see it. Like, it's a good thing. I'm not.
No,
It's reflective at this point.
I've made peace of it now, but at the time, I was very much aware
yeah, no,
of
I'm
like,
getting that. Yeah.
guys, I made a feature. I know what the fuck I'm doing. So,
Yeah, don't. Yeah, but of course you would, because you go, I made a feature. Don't fuck with me. You got.
but everyone's like, yeah, we get more like this. You know, this was in 2016. So this was at the height of the indie horror craze. So I made a horror film which came from very sincere origins. I was in the Warren Bungles National Park with my then partner.
The fucking Warren Bungles, man. See, they got like, I'm an astronomer.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yep.
I fucking love the Warren Bungles, man. They got some good telescopes out that way. Just saying.
So I went there with
Sorry
my,
to derail that.
It's actually right on point because I went there with my then partner and we went to an observatory there, and there was a thing about the emu constellation.
Yeah, that's right.
in the
Yeah.
sky.
So well, it's a strange constellation. So this constellation is not much about stars. The stars around the constellation, of course.
Yes.
But it's actually about the cloud, because the cloud forms darkness in the sky, and that's what actually forms the emu.
And sometimes of the year,
I photographed this extensively. Yeah.
and so
Bit of a nerd that way.
either the emu's head is up or down, depending
That's
on,
right.
on the year.
Depending on the position of the Earth. Yeah.
I found that so profound. I thought I'm going to write this into a film. So as the film
Get the fuck out of here!
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! All right, look, man, we're going down this rabbit hole. Play this shit, Jane. Whack it up there while we're talking about this.
So while it was being put together,
And now I've got a prosecco, and all of a sudden, really powerful with the whole fucking imaging. Here we
and
go.
classy.
And classy.
So while writing the film, I had this whole thing about emus and about mythology, and it was basically telling Dreamtime stories, which I remember from when I was, like in kindergarten.
Totally, yeah, the rainbow serpent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
And
totally.
Tiddalik, that big frog that used to drink all the water, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, Memes. That was another one, yeah.
And so I had this really
Cool stories.
important to me, really a profound film to make, and it was bastardized by people who were just wanting to get another credit on their list, people who were wanting to ride on the coattails of me having made my first feature, just all this bullshit. Not Paul Mercurio, he's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Big love to Paul, because
Man, we sound like we're doing a big unpack here because, like,
yeah,
this sounds like a shitty slope that, like, what the fuck happened?
at the time it was quite crappy, yes. But again, in hindsight, it was what I needed because I was facing all
Sounds
of
like
this.
a massive reality check.
I was facing all these people telling me what I should be doing, and the end result speech for itself, I was so hesitant to release this film on DVD once it did its run because I'm
Yeah.
like it kind of looks as much as it costs to make, and most people behind the
Aesthetics are fucking a big deal, man. This is where we're going, right?
but also the craftsmanship behind the scenes was
Interesting.
very mediocre.
See, interesting. See, we were talking about this before, the intersection of craft and
Yes.
art. It's interesting that we talked about that. I mean, I'm really stoked that we're having this conversation, by the way, because, like, that's what you call a callback, right? So we end up calling back. So every time I talk to you, we end up calling back within 2-3 minutes, right? Just, it wasn't... Dude. Dude. So the craft of this film...
Yes. It was a
intersected with the
fucking
art,
nightmare, but
and
it was.
So you got pissed off by the fact that it was crafty and not arty.
No, I get pissed off for the fact that it wasn't my film. It was people just wanting a credit. So they showed up either late or not at all. They gave very phoned-in performances.
They just wanted it on the rolling thing at the fucking end of the fucking movie.
And no shade to the small girl, Sage, but she was a child actor, so she was very impressionable. Her parents were running the show from her end.
It
And
sounds like a fucking nightmare, bro.
I called them out on it, saying, like guys, I'm working with your daughter here. If you
Dude.
let me do my thing as a director. Let me bring your child out from under your arms and let her be a performer. No? Okay,
No,
fine.
okay,
Screw it then.
okay. They're not going to go for that.
But she was in Lives as one of the younger versions of one of the leads there. So I worked with her before, and when she's in her element, Sage was on it.
Okay.
For Fighting for Shadows, it was
Did we roll that? Did we roll that, Jay?
You did.
Yeah.
We did?
With Shadows, though, it was just... Every step of the way was a wall to climb. It was a very steep ascent. And when it was all over, I only finished the film, I only released it as a fuck you to people along the way who are saying, effectively, I won't let you do this, I'm going to fuck you up. And I'm like, no, I don't think you're going to, sorry. And since
Sounds
then...
heavy, bro. It sounds really heavy.
But also very necessary. So,
It sounds really heavy.
so from that,
It sounds like a shitty experience.
It was, of course, but I want to always bring that up to other filmmakers saying, like, just as a bit of a point of reference, it's kind of a rite of passage across to bear where you have to go through that
Interesting.
and think, you know what,
Interesting.
I'm not being taken seriously as a filmmaker until someone's trying to fuck me over. And I've really got to stand by my art.
I don't know if this is right or wrong, but there's those that are in craft, right? That want to have their name on the credits because of their craft. There's those that don't give a fuck about the credit because they want to make the movie. And I think there's a difference between those two kind of people. That's just my experience, and I've run into this in different spectrums. Same in the music industry, same in the film industry, and the TV industry. A lot of those things intersect. There's a lot of overlap with that, and I've sort of been always an outside independent operator that's operated in corporate spaces, network spaces, film company spaces, independent spaces, and I don't know, the journey that I've had, I would say all of the independents that I've worked with, not all, No, that's not true. Maybe 70% of the independents that I've worked with are really cool to work with. Like, they have a vision. They want to build this thing. And then you got the coattailers, the ones that want to hang on. They want to do the minimal so they can add to their resume so they can get the next big gig, right? So they want to leapfrog you to get the next big gig. And then you find yourself perhaps in a situation where you could leapfrog the next gig. But then for me personally, I just go, well, a gig's a gig. A gig's a gig. The money is dependent on the resources of those that are providing versus my skill set versus how much time I'm willing to give up for it. And if it's too much time, I'm not willing to give up the time. I'm not willing to take the money for the right time. When you're younger, you tend to take
whatever you can get.
Whatever you can get. There comes to a hardening maturity where you go, I just want to work with artists. I want to work with adults. Maybe an adult is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
I want to work with adults.
Well, working with kid actors is great, and it was very important to me to do. Working with the parents and with...
well, they're adults.
Are
they? This is my point, man. That's why that sounds like this experience was a dive for you, is because you've got a whole bunch of crafts people that want to be noted.
Okay. These people
Be careful. Be careful, Davo.
The particular people I
think
about...
Prosecco. He's drinking Prosecco on the show.
Who are in Shadows, most of them haven't done a lot since, and there's a reason for that. So they found this opportunity to work with an indie filmmaker because it was an easy entry, and they thought, oh, this guy's just gonna...
Yeah, but they got a word for that, Davo, and it's called fucking opportunistic. You can't be opportunistic in this world. You just can't, because if you go and become a musician for money, you'll starve to death. You just will. Like, you can't get into it for money. If you want to be a musician, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a director, you can't get into it for money. You have to actually like what you do, because you're not going to win every fucking battle. It just doesn't work that way. You're going to take loss. You have to take loss as an artist. You are going to. Don't get me wrong. There's those that have shot into the stratosphere from the first spark. Don't get me wrong, but there's less than 1%. Less. Most of us that end up as practitioners, and I mean that as a practitioner, because that's an interesting... The practitioner is the middle of craft and art, right? Because the artist is the one... I don't care about the craft or the admin. I don't care about that. I just need to paint this picture. But there's some people that go, well, I need to market that picture, and I need to get you a photo next to that picture, and you need to write a blog about him standing next to the photo of him in that picture, and I need you to retweet that, because then there's the picture of him taking the picture. In fact, there's the guy that was taking the photo of the guy, and we wrote the blog. We can link that together. Don't forget, when you leave taking the photograph, don't forget the TikTok, because we need you to leave the stage having a good fucking time.
# good time.
You know... So there's all of these aspects to it. Most artists don't give a fuck about that.
Which is
why
why
give a fuck.
Most of the people who are on Shadows were in it for the wrong reasons, just as a blanket excuse. And I saw that early on. And
this is the most positive conversation I've had in a really long time, because we're talking about something really negative, but
it's
I'm really
realistic.
Stoked. I'm really stoked that you got out of that shit and made more fucking content.
Absolutely. And since then, I haven't dealt with people quite that in my face, but also I haven't put myself in the situation to have to, because now, after two successful features, I was like, okay, I know what I can do, lives. I know what not to do, Shadows. Let's go back to...
Contrast.
Exactly.
It's got any contrast, right?
And thankfully, early on in my career, so I was young enough to really learn the lesson and to be like, okay, this is part of my growth. Where to from here? And so my third feature was going back to roots. This was a very personal story of mine. This was me going back to essentially like my childhood self, my who is Davo. And so I made a film called A Silent Agreement.
All right, whack this up, man. I didn't know. I thought you only had 3 in the belt. This is number 4. This is the third.
3 of 5 to date.
Fuck, bro.
So,
do you write all these?
Of course.
You write all these?
I directed them.
And then you go out and direct them.
Yeah.
And then you do, because then you'd have to do all the location scouting.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got to do the casting. And then you do the post-production.
I also do the costuming. I also do a lot with the scheduling, because the scheduling depends on availabilities of everyone involved.
How the fuck do you do all that?
With great ease, of course.
Jesus, yeah. I get up at 6 a.m. I have a crouton.
And a Prosecco.
I have a double Nescafe, and then I'm on my way.
So with a silent agreement, I had Paul back from Shadows because again,
I'm going to take this ball off you.
No, okay.
I've got it. Hey, you got this, Jay? Here we go.
I was going to pour it for you mid conversation, but I thought...
No, I'll do it. I got it sorted, bro. I got it sorted.
Mind the backwash. So
no, I'm not minding it. I'm watching it.
The backwash.
Man, I can handle it. I would take it as an insult if I didn't drink your backwash after this podcast. Holy fuck, man. This is a great conversation.
Think of it as a kiss of approval.
Yeah, man. It's a dirty kiss of love. Everyone get down on that. Don't forget to comment. Put it in the tick like and subscribe.
And also comment on what's the worst thing you had in your mouth. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Jesus
So,
Christ. Jesus on a bike. Fuck.
So I had Paul back because he saw what I went through with Shadows, and he's like, Davo, you got...
That's a fucking nightmare. I just you've only just gone over this iceberg.
Yeah.
What you've done,
Yeah.
you've talked about the iceberg, but you only talked about the surface stuff of that.
Yeah.
Like, I can, because I know what you're talking about,
Absolutely.
right?
I think anyone with a salt knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there's probably like, how many awkward conversations, because you got to weigh it up, right? How many awkward conversations did you have? How many meetings that were poor? How many interactions with other artists did you go, why am I doing this for?
How many dummy spits were there?
How many people swore at me? And even worse, how many people did I swear at? And then we get to do this movie, and then at the end of it, you know, I get to walk a red carpet, get a few shots. Someone writes a blog, does a TikTok, retweets it. You know, like, that sounds like a really shit idea, man. Like,
Yeah.
But you enjoyed it, though.
It was very character building, to say the least. But it was also very, I don't know.
Cathartic.
It was cathartic because I was able to tell people, like, you're not gonna get in my way, guys. You're not gonna tear me down. I appreciate the attempt. I really do. I can see the effort that you went to.
It's a great middle finger.
But it's a middle finger. And this becomes now, from this point onwards, a through line with all of my filmmaking.
Totally.
It's very...
It's embedded, man. That's what I'm saying. When you started that conversation, I could see on you, I'm like, holy shit, man. Seething.
I wear my heart on my sleeve and I'm very vulnerable. It's all
Yeah, me too, man. Got it right there. Got it right there. Heart on the sleeve.
Is that turned to camera?
Yeah. There you go. Heart on the sleeve, baby.
There we go.
Yeah, I understand. But look, what we've talked about is quite vulnerable, right? Talking to you as a filmmaker, I'm like, holy shit, man, I need to talk to you more often. You're just very inspirational. But I don't know, like, I just... Wearing your heart on your sleeve is vulnerable.
Absolutely.
But vulnerability is actually strength. It's a paradox.
But it's also something which people don't want you to be, and as we'll get to when we come to public eye, a thing that you shouldn't be if you want to be successful. So this will all be a callback later on in our conversation.
I hope this episode doesn't get me cancelled. You know what I mean?
It won't. You can't be cancelled telling the truth.
I'm going to get cancelled from my, viewership. Shit, man.
Derail the Pagey train.
Derail it. Fuck.
They won't.
They can't, because the Pagey train's on rails, man. There's no getting out of it.
But for a silent agreement, it was telling the story, which was very true to life, of me having a stammer. So I'm sure throughout this conversation and through the rest of the conversation, people will hear me and they'll be like, "What did he say?" Because I stutter, I stammer, even when I'm at my most relaxed, when I'm most in my zone, I still do it because I'm 33 years old. I've been speaking for 30 odd years. I've been stammering for the same amount of time too, and there's a lot of stuff going into that. Pretty early on in my life, I thought, well, I'll get the speech therapy and I'll do what I can do, but I can only do so much. Yeah, okay. One of my biggest things with my speech impediment was learning sign language. And I thought, well...
Oh, wow. Like Auslan sort of shit.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So when I was learning that, I was about 15 or so-ish. I was dating a deaf guy. I was living with a deaf person. I had people in my life who were all profoundly deaf. And I thought, well, I'll just be mute. And one day, my partner said to me, in sign, of course, Davo, you will not be mute. You can speak. You will speak.
Fucking hell, man.
And God damn it, Davo, you can sign all you want, but you're not going to stop speaking. And I'm like, okay. And that was so profound for me. I'm like, this will be a film one day. So,
that's really intense, bro. That's intense, man. Because think about it again, though. Like, it's strange, though. It's a strange conversation. Because what we're talking about is visual language, right? Mm-hmm. We're talking about visual language and visual spectrums. Then we're talking about soundscapes.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about the artistry that goes into that really ties back to language. Then we tie into how does one display language? Talking about vulnerability and going, well, I stutter sometimes, and this is my vulnerability, and that's okay. But then going into a language of visual space, because that's what Auslan is. It's a visual space language. It's a language that is required without sound. And holy shit, man!
You would be amazed to realize just how loud deaf people are.
Yeah.
When they speak, when they just get around.
Yeah.
Just because even when
I do Foley art, right? I do a lot of Foley art and understand soundscapes because other people listen to sounds that I don't listen. Like, sorry, let me reword that. I listen to sounds that they don't hear.
Yeah.
And I find them instrumental, in fact. Like, the sounds that we don't hear. In fact, the sounds that are implied are even crazy. Like, for instance, if you have a knife stuck in a
table,
a
hand,
and you pull it out, it makes no sound, really. But if you put a ping,
or no,
you add a sound to it so it has the visual reference to that moment, and you can actually amplify intensity. You can amplify violence. You can amplify subtlety. You can amplify a multitude of actions. In fact, like in Auslan, right, they still mouth words and still use facial expressions.
Very much so, yeah.
Because it's not just a hand-based thing, right?
The face gives the tone, the hands give the word. And I will teach you something if you want to
yeah,
know.
Sure.
But
I'd love that. I know my name, so it's ROSS.
Oh, very close.
It's close. Is that
very
close?
Close. It's RO.
So close.
Because your fingers are all the vowels, so the A, I, E, I, yep. So the I is the middle finger, the big tall one, and the O is the ring finger. That's how you remember it.
Okay. I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha.
But when I was making Sign Agreement for Foley and Sound, just a big shout out to Todd Jacobs and Oliver Brighton.
Big shout out.
They were the soundies on that film, and they were like, "Oh, it's a film about deaf people. There'll be no work for me at all." The Foley in this film, the atmos, and just the noise of sign language, all those slaps. And exactly.
Because they also have, that's what you refer to in ADR and Foley as sibilants, actually. So when you do...
I'm learning now.
So sibilants is these that are sounds that are made that are outside of words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if that definition is absolutely correct, but
good enough for me.
It's where you get the it's the pops basically in a microphone,
and there were so many of those.
And the clearing a mouse like right. I know that sounds terrible, but that must be part of the deal.
It's ASMR.
Yeah, it is. That's the word, ASMR. I've got a guest coming up that does a bit of ASMR. They're coming up in a few weeks, so a big shout out, Natalie. No, it is. It fascinates me to the extent, right? So my wife and I, we talk in our sleep. And I've woken up talking to her, but in gibberish, right?
Yeah, of course.
In a pidgin English, if you will, like, I just dropped my goat banana. It makes no actual contextual sense.
That's nice, Ross.
But but we would be conversing, right? At the time, it made sense, but when you unpack the limited memory you have of it, you go, there's no causality in that. Even further to that, she'll sleepwalk. I sleepwalk as well. I call it the Misty padlock. I put my leg over her right leg, because I sleep on the left, she sleeps on the right. I put my right leg over her left leg so I can lock her in, because otherwise she'll take off. She'll take off with the doona. She'll get the doona back.
Wives, am I right?
Crazy. But no, just our sleep patterns, right? But one I heard, because I talk in my sleep a lot.
Yeah.
People that sign in their sleep.
I've done that.
They sign in their sleep. That's because that means that's the language part of your brain.
I was
Fucking crazy, bro.
I picked up somebody at a club, as one does when they're in their early 20s.
I miss going to clubs, but I don't miss going to clubs, you know what I mean?
At this age, I couldn't stand it, no. But at that age, it was the thing to do. It was the early noughts, so you had to do it.
Insane.
But yeah, I went clubbing, picked up this random, went home with him, and it was absolutely like we had the best. But afterwards, I was over, and he told me long after, he woke up in the middle of the night being like, what is that? He looked over at me, and I'm dead asleep, but I'm signing in my sleep. He's like, what's this guy doing? He's possessed. And I told him the next morning when he told me about it, I'm like, I was signing. What's weird about that? But yeah.
Totally, man. Yeah.
I signed in my sleep, and I'm like yeah.
Well, it interests me because it's part of your brain, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got all these neurons in our brain. We've got these dopamine reactions, serotonin reactions. We have all of this neuron activity. And in fact, all the neurons in your brain calculate to all of the stars in the galaxy.
We're getting cosmic now, guys.
We're getting cosmic. We're getting existential, if you will.
Let's do it.
But within your brain, right, you've got all of these management centers, the thing that manages your heart rate, the thing that manages your breathing. You don't think about breathing, you just breathe. But you can interrupt that by holding your breath. You can interrupt these sequential things that always happen. There's this dude, man, that does yoga, right, meditation, puts himself in like ice water, can be there for like an hour. Most people get fucking hypothermia and die within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But he can surpass that by body conditioning, by mind and body conditioning. There's people that it was once thought that if you lose oxygen to your brain for 5 minutes, you will get brain damage. There's people that have like held their breath for 17 minutes these days. That's insane. Just by putting our minds to it, we realize that we can tap into these ancient things that are within us. The lizard monkey brain, if you will. It's the cognitive part that's at the front that we all are arguing about, right? The gender fluidity or civil rights or political persuasion or racial persuasion, right? We have all of these things that we are all different and separate, but really, this is where I find film really funny.
Yep.
Under color correction, we're all grey.
Ooh,
we're all grey.
That should be on a bumper sticker.
But it's true though. If you look at the skin tone line in a vector scope in any edit software, whether it's Final Cut Pro, whether it's Premiere Pro, whether it's Avid, we're all grey. And I can prove it. When you vacuum your house and clean your house, what's the colour of the dust? It's all grey. That's your skin.
Speaking of greys, I found a few in my beard lately.
Oh no, you're at that stage, man. Oh no, it gets worse,
Each
bro.
one
It gets
has
worse.
been well earned, and a few of them, I'm sure, came from a silent agreement. When
pull that mic over. Just pull that mic
sorry.
over, man. Just pull that mic over with you.
I'll say again. So I found a few greys in my beard. I'm sure a few of them were well earned from making a silent agreement because I pulled my very good friend Josh Seeley into playing my love interest. Now, Josh is a profoundly deaf but very heterosexual actor, friend of mine.
Okay.
And he said, I will do this. One film, one take per thing. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
mate,
sure.
I'll do it. When I read the sex scenes...
Oh, jeez, so you conned him into it.
Oh, hell yeah. I gave him a few Prosecco's before we shot them. But
the Prosecco works, man. Like, can I go another one of those, bad
absolutely.
boys? Yeah.
So about 8 minutes into the film, where they're in bed together, butt naked, it's all wonderful. And at the premiere, he had his parents and his girlfriend with him. It was all phenomenal. But what I really love...
Jesus, bro. Jesus.
What I really love about this whole experience was it was, again, a contrast to Shadows.
You do a lot of pushing the envelope, don't you?
I suppose so to the average person, but as Josh got from me, and as people who are close to me get, it doesn't come.
I mean it as a compliment, by the way.
Of course, yeah. He gets it, and most people close to me get it. It doesn't come from a place of I want to be provocative and shocking. It's a place of I just want to be honest and genuine. So
risky. It's racy. Being honest is racy, man. It's racy.
He knew what we shot, and he brought his parents and his girlfriend to the premiere. So that's saying a lot. this was again a big contrast to Shadows because
Well, he knew what was in it, though.
absolutely.
He knew what was shot. Like, it's not a secret. Like, he may not have been there at the edit, but he knows what was shot.
He knows what was in frame because we had each of the frames set up and shown to me, who was in front of the camera each time, so he knew what was there. And he's like, "Oh, they're gonna see my penis." But when it's all
Cock shot.
yeah,
Jesus.
him and me side by side.
Jesus. Jesus.
Thank you, Josh. But wait.
Oh, Jesus.
But again, he got it. So it was the opposite again to Shadows, where people on a silent agreement were with me. They got what I was talking about, and they were behind me every step of the way. And the energy on set was so positive.
Yeah.
The end result was so successful. This film has gone above and beyond what I ever planned for. It was picked up by universities for its academic content.
It's great when it washes over like that. I mean, like
Yeah.
the contents, the content on set.
Yeah, absolutely.
When positive energy washes over, that's one of the biggest buzzes for me.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, don't get me wrong. The visual, like, there's two kind of buzzes as a director, right? There's the visual language. You know, when you're achieving your goal.
Yeah.
Because you look at
It looks just right.
it looks just right, and you've got that synthesis with the cinematographer, where you've got a cinematographer where you're like, oh, you get it,
Yeah.
you get it, yeah.
I love that moment.
And then even the right pushback where they go, I know what you want, but I can do it better. And then they go, how about this shot? You go, oh, I didn't even see that. Yes. And those moments you have with those cinematographers, you know what I mean? Like that blowout and that interaction that you have with artists, man, when you're doing that project and you're making that happen. I just find that the buzz. But the other part of it is when you know that it's all coming together. When you know that that's what you want. It's beyond the collaborative moment where it's like, yeah, it's not what I thought that it was going to turn out to be, but this is definitely in the bandwidth of what I wanted.
Maybe it was because people on a silent agreement knew what I've been through with Shadows.
The buzz of that.
But when I was making it, they just gave me free rein. They said, David, what do you want? What do you need? I had people who were constantly in my face saying, can I get you anything? And I'm like, I'm fine, thank you. But
it's nice when that happens,
it's
though.
lovely.
It is.
And
But,
it was a good
but by the
reminder.
time it happens to you, like, this is what I've got to say to people out there. Because you know what I'm talking about, right? Because, like, when you're starting out, you're like, I just want people to treat me right. And I just need things delivered to me. And I need everything that I need. And then you realise no one
I'm not there yet.
no one cares. No one cares about you. And by the time you go, I've been looking after myself for so long, someone delivers you a hot towel, you're like, oh, I don't need this.
But thank you all the same.
But thank you all the same.
Thank you for thinking of me. I really appreciate that. Hand on my heart, love you dearly.
But that collaborative buzz, though, I must go back to that. That collaborative buzz where...
With Paul Mercurio.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on my list of people who I really wanted to work with when I was really young. And that was back when he was, quite the stud. And I just wanted to work with him so very, very much. When I had the chance to work...
He is pretty hot.
He certainly is. He's now a grandfather.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's now become the third in a hierarchy. But
Well, when I become an old man, I'm always worried about someone going, hey, get out of the way, Grandpa. I'm like, I never had children.
That's totally fine. You don't need to have kids to be...
I don't know. You do need to have kids to be a grandpa. This is my point, right? The scopes have fucking changed more than we even know. We haven't even caught up to where we changed.
You're a filmmaker, though. Those are your children.
Oh, dude. It's strange how that works. It's actually more than that. It's more than the... Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Let me get the album cover under there. It's more than that. It's totally more than that. It's just not the content that is on the journey. It's the people that are making that content on the journey.
Yeah.
Like I've got Jay producing for us tonight. Thank you very much, Jay.
Yeah,
love you, Jay.
I love you too, Davo.
I always call him my legitimate gay son. Because he's my son and he's legitimately gay. All right? That's okay. Is that okay? Can I get away with that?
You can, yeah.
Yeah, great.
I think you're outnumbered tonight then, Ross.
I think a little bit outnumbered. Jesus, fuck, man. You guys are taking over the fucking world. Everyone slow down. No, look.
The worst part is...
I'm going to get so much shit in the comments for that. If that's taken out of context, shit.
The worst part is being gay is contagious, so...
Oh, watch out. Ooh, oogie boogie woogie.
Am I feeling your foot against my foot, Ross?
We've done that a few times, actually. We've run into each
Are
other a
you
little bit.
flirting with me?
A little bit.
Go to commercial.
Fuck, man. Now we've gotten sexually distracted by the
6
orgy
drinks
that
and
we're
he's
about to
gone.
have.
Remember that.
6 Prosecco's, man. We're fucking in, baby.
That's all it takes.
Oh, dude, this has been one of the most intense fucking podcasts I've ever done, man. Really. It really is. Like, because we talk about stammering, right? And
Yes, we have.
Yeah, we have. See, but I'm an ummer. So
You certainly are. I noticed tonight, yeah.
See, because you were busting your own balls about, like, I've got to start this conversation. But I'll be like, but where are we going now? So, like, you can argue this to and fro
I
in the
won't
world.
argue it at all. I'm actually really on it. Having an armor is as bad as having a stammer.
It's the same thing, man. It's the same thing.
It's
Like,
just as in your face to other people, but to you, it's almost under the radar.
yeah, but it's an attack on intellectualism, right? Because you could argue, oh, he stammers or he says a lot. How could he be a filmmaker? How can he be a storyteller if he can't even convey a conversation?
I'll show you, fuckface. It's.
I think you have fucking shown fuckface.
But yeah, I mean, okay. In most of the publicity around a silent agreement, I told the story of I was at film school, and one of the guys who was a lecturer there told me point blank to my face in front of everybody, "You will not be a director. You stammer. People won't have the time for you." And I'm like,
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck?
Hold on. So I'm here at film school on a scholarship, mind, and
Yeah, you didn't just arrive there, right?
I didn't.
You just did. Yeah, it wasn't just an.
I didn't
entry
get in
rock
bought
up.
and paid for because I was a trust fund baby. I got in because I had.
You did that really well. You could have gone a few angles on that, and you did that really well.
Thank you.
I like that.
I got in on merit alone, and so
Meritocracy.
having this person say to me, "You will not," I'm like, "Oh, okay, I hear you. I understand what you're saying, and I've put it on board. Thank you. Please sit there while I go do it. I'll bring it back to you, and just let's just talk about that afterwards. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll unpack it later, bro. Let's unpack it later. Like, I'll stand by it because that's the thing with like I know I dig what you're saying, man. But again, it comes down to your work, right? If you can stand by your work, I stand by my shit work, and you've done it tonight. You really have.
With shadows.
Yeah, with shadows, man. Like that's why I really appreciate your company in this podcast, man. Like you've hit a nerve in me, man. I must really say, Jesus, you ran out of that really quickly.
I'm part Irish.
You've heard. We're speaking to the right carrier, bro.
Do you have more prosecco in the house? You don't. Well, anything will do.
I
I'm
do
part
have
Irish.
2 bottles in the fridge.
I'll drink gasoline.
I've got 2 bottles of prosecco in the fridge right now, baby. We can do it. We'll have a time out. But no, I just really appreciate your fucking company, bro. Like, you have illuminated nerve endings in me that I forgot that even existed. And you can argue about this prick fucking stammers, or you can go this prick fucking ums and ahs. But the reality is that intellectual space isn't defined by that. It just isn't. Do you know what it's defined by? It's defined by merit. It's defined by output. It's defined by being prolific. It's defined by, the most of all, passion. If you have the passion in something, other people can be enrolled in your idea. They'll go along with you for the journey. And the dude that has made all this shit that I've been watching tonight, any dude that does that has the ability to enroll people in that idea. Whether it's in fucking sign language or in fucking broken English, you're certainly someone that is fucking kicking ass, bro.
Thank you, Ross. I
And
appreciate it very much.
I have had an absolutely superb night fucking talking to you, man. And I'd love to have you fucking back. Absolutely.
We've barely begun, Ross, and it's still.
I know. I'll
young.
go another hour. I need to have a piss break though. You want a piss break?
I knew you would want to.
You want a piss break, don't you?
All that prosecco, so we'll be back shortly.
All right, we'll have a piss break. We'll come back, man, because we've got to fucking wrap this up in the next hour. So we're back from the break, folks. Jesus, we've had a few drinks on this show tonight. A very impressive show, I must say. Davo, an incredible human being, making all these fucking features. Like, I must say, making features, like, because I talk to a lot of people that make shorts. They'll spend their entire year, maybe 2 years, making their shorts. Because making a feature is like, because you can argue, like, you go, well, a short is, 10 to 15 minutes. 7 minutes if you do a good job, actually, because a good short is 7 minutes.
Yeah.
If you go to 15 minutes, you haven't told the story quick enough. You've lost that compression value. But when you extrapolate out and go, okay, so I've got a 15-minute film. I can bust this idea out to an hour 20. The workload isn't 5 times the amount. It's not, like, because you would go, well, surely I just double and double and then double. And you go, so if it was 100 hours to make this, therefore, it should be 500 hours to make the feature. But that's not fucking true. It's nowhere near true.
That's like trying to go between languages word by word. It just will not work because
it's okay, Jay.
Because languages are done by phrases. So you can't say... for example, in high school, I was learning German, of all things. You can't do word-by-word translations. It will come out as gibberish. You got to do the whole sentence, the whole phrase, and then translate it.
That's true. But I just think that, the extrapolation out of shorts to features is it's a leap.
Well, while we're there...
It's not a small step.
Yeah.
It's not an incremental step either.
No.
You have to be extremely committed person. I've had a few like feature directors on, and I get two kinds of guys. Actually, maybe four different types of people.
Which am I?
Oh, I don't know. Well, let's work it out. Okay, so when you write, are you a blinking cursor, or do you map it out and then write and fill the map?
What's a blinking cursor?
Blinking cursor is that you start at the scratch and you just write from the end as the start to the end.
No, I'm not that.
Or do you map it out and go, all right, here's the story arc. I'm going to write the middle first, actually, because I'm very inspired by the middle first, and then I'll go to the start, then I'll go to the end.
That's very much me. I'm very much a
so you're a mapper
and a middle starter. I often start in the middle.
Okay. So we've established the writing side of things.
Yeah.
There's another kind of director as well that I come across. See, I think it's been said before academically that there's different types of directors. You've got the dictator. The dictator will say, as a funny reference to a film, as Misty may laugh if she watches this far, would be how does it go?
Come on, don't mess it up now.
No. To who it would be concerned, or
to whom it would be concerned.
To whom it would be concerned.
Please look at the following of my extrapolation
to
of
who
the
would it be
filmmaking
concerned?
process.
No, sorry, I got it wrong. Were that it'd be oh so simple. Were
that it would be
so simple. That it'd be oh so simple.
Oh, wow.
All right, so as an actor, you can go, I need you to say, to were that it would be so simple. And
that would be oh so simple.
To were that it would be so simple. And you could extrapolate that and go to were that it'd be oh so simple. So why are you saying were? There's no such word.
Hold on.
To would. No, sorry. Let me say this again. I'm fucking this up.
I'm
going to try again. To would that it be were so simple.
To would that it would be were so simple.
So you could deliver that. To would that it be were so simple.
Oh dear, Rush, you're talking to someone who is actually quite the beatnik, so I would absolutely.
So you could be you could be a really stringent director and go. It's even come out in my delivery of this. To would that it were so simple. You could rattle that out and go, to would that it were so simple.
In that context, I would say I am not this person, in that I am not a word perfect director. Most of the time, I don't say to the director...
as a collaborator.
Yeah. I don't say...
Not a dictator?
I rarely if ever say to the actor, you're saying it wrong. Only if it's something like a silent agreement where everything is word perfect because it's that sign language thing, blah, blah, blah. I have never pulled someone aside saying, look, guys... I asked for orange. You said tangerine. Like, guys.
Okay, so not a dictator.
Absolutely not.
Not a dictator. Okay.
No.
So let's go beyond the dictator to the conformist.
Conformist?
Yeah.
Doesn't like me at all, but go on.
So no, I don't think you're a conformist.
No.
Because I think if an actor said to you and said, I think if I said it this way, it would be better.
Do you now? That's lovely.
Because that's where the dictator comes in and goes, I disagree.
Yeah.
I want you to add what you have to offer to this. But see an artist. What's the word? A collaborator.
Is that the word for it? Okay.
A collaborator would say,
I hear
I
you.
want you to anchor. I want you to anchor this emotion.
Yep.
Because this guy was orphaned at 4 years old.
Okay.
So that's your anchor. You've lost your parents, and here you are at 17 trying to court this girl, but you have this sadness behind you. And I want you to bring that sadness with you. So that's a collaborator.
Mm-hmm.
But a dictator would say, you need to say the lines this exact way.
But if the actor comes up to you saying, I think I should actually be
Conformist.
redoing this instead, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but I know that his parents died when he was 4, but the other thing that I've added to him was that he had an uncle that was inspiring that actually gave him a father figure. And this is how a father figure would anchor this line to that. You go, but there's no uncle in the story. But I like the way you do it. See, that's a conformist.
I'm also, okay.
You get what I'm saying? So you got the
Absolutely, yeah.
dictator,
Yeah.
the collaborator, and the conformist. And all of us have aspects of all, because
Yeah, of course.
at some part, you have to go to the actor and go, actually, that works. Let's go with that. But there's other parts where you go, but that's not the line.
I appreciate your thought, but you're profoundly incorrect.
And there's
moving on.
and there's another part where you go, that's not the exact line, but you delivered that in such a way.
I believed it.
I believed it.
Yeah.
So we all have that balance of being a dictator, conformist, and a collaborator.
Currently, the collaborator sounds the most like me. Go on. What's the next
Yeah. One's more dominant than the other.
Yeah.
So I've talked to directors that are either the more of the dictator, more of the collaborator, and more of the conformist.
Yeah.
And because if you got a big actor on your set,
Yeah.
they're gonna have a lot of ability to.
Ability, yes, but it depends on how they use it.
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
See, that comes into that spectrum of collaboration and conformist, because you can conform to that and agree to it and go, no, but that's not the holistic vision of this film. I need you to actually say it this way, or in fact, I need you to actually say it this way. You know what I mean? So I guess my question is,
What's the question here?
out of directors that are writers,
Yep.
blinking cursor, right from start to scratch.
Not me.
Start in the middle, map it out.
That's me.
Find the part that's passionate and branch.
Yep.
But then when you're on set,
Yep.
you're either the dictator, like I've written this from start to finish, and you're going to deliver it that way.
Even though everything I write and direct is from my heart, I am not a dictator about it. There are times when actors go quite off book, I must say, but they give me such performances and such authentic performances that I cannot say no.
Yeah, see, those authentic... I think it comes down to that authenticity. That authentic performance. So I always class myself as a collaborator. I like to work with actors that go, I've really researched this character. And they're like, yeah, let's bust it out, baby.
Well, I want to do it while it's on me so I can show you.
Yeah, we on? We on?
All of
I like to work with actors that want to add. They don't want to just... Because, like, again, though, working with directors that are dictators, there's also actors... Woo!
Any for you, Jay?
No, thank you, buddy.
There's also actors out there that need the dictator. They can't operate without the dictator. Because I've worked with actors that go, I just need you to tell me what to do. But I've worked with actors that go, can you allow me a space so I can operate this character the way that you've allowed me to? So I find that there's a difference between the two. And I find there's a correlation. Collation?
No.
Whatever it is.
A correlation.
Correlation. There we go. A correlation between...
I gave you space to get there, but no.
Yeah. 3 strikes, you're out, bro.
A small nudge
3
along,
strikes,
Ross. Correlation.
Correlation.
Go home, you're drunk. Go on.
I'm a little bit drunk. But the correlation between blinking cursor versus mapper. So the mapper tends to be more of a collaborator.
Yes, I'd say that.
The blinking cursor tends to be more the dictator.
I do love being psychoanalyzed. Go ahead.
But there's not. What I'm saying is like, there's one's not better than the other because you can argue. You could say that Kubrick, right? Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick, yeah.
Dictator.
Oh fuck yeah.
Fucking dictator.
Very, very well documented dictator.
Yeah, but undeniable. Undeniable. Like the work that man made. Yes, please. You've got it. See, you see it on me. You already know. This is a great podcast. I don't even have to say. Just do it. That kind of guy is not the normal kind of dude.
Well, people want to emulate it a lot.
Yeah, but by being an arsehole, you can be an arsehole all you like. That doesn't make you Kubrick. You know, you need to also have the vision, and you also need to have the idea.
You know, I was watching the behind-the-scenes stuff of The Shining, and his daughter Vivian did a
138 takes.
His daughter did a video.
Want to take a bat to your fucking head.
But also, just from this angle, she did a behind-the-scenes video of The Shining, which went about 40 minutes, and I think that she and her father were polar opposite filmmakers. She seems so grounded, down to earth, and sees things holistically. Him, not so much.
You're so polite. You're so polite in that way.
Well, I don't want Kubrick to haunt me in his afterlife.
Well, there's one film that this goes back to before streaming services, right? So I had letmewatchthis.com was the best because you get this Russian website that allows you to watch everything. Like, why download it when you can just stream it, right? This is the beyond copied DVDs,
of course,
to stolen streaming. But there was a time where you'd buy DVDs at Blockbuster, right? You must remember these days where you because you're in your 30s, right? Early 30s.
I do fondly remember going to Video Easy, picking out a video cassette.
A cassette VHS?
Oh, God.
You've done VHS?
I've done VHS cassettes, and actually having that moment of but that one's a 7-day rental, this one's a 3-day rental.
See, when Blockbuster was going out of business, I really got excited because then I'd just go and buy all their $2 DVDs. And one of the $2 DVDs that I bought was Colour Me Kubrick.
You're a bargain bin Barry, go on.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Because sometimes you'd find gold.
Absolutely.
You totally find gold. But then you find films that are so unsuspecting. That you just would.
You will find all Davo Hardy films in the bargain bin.
Check out this film, Colour Me Kubrick. It's got John Malkovich, who plays a character that believes he's Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, gosh.
Which is based on a true story of a mental patient that claimed to be Stanley Kubrick in London.
Bless him.
You go to pubs and, pick up nefarious men doing dodgy things, saying that he was Stanley Kubrick.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't Stanley Kubrick, and he actually got committed. And when he was committed, they actually put on the end... You know how they put the names on the end of the bed?
I may not have been in an asylum, but sure, go on.
Well, if you've never been in an asylum, they generally have your name tattooed somewhere.
Who knew?
But they had Stanley Kubrick because he wouldn't accept anything else because that's my name, bro. But you're not Stanley Kubrick. But he believed he was.
Director of Barry Lyndon, come on.
Oh, man, I think he had a really rockin' time. That's what that movie was about. But I ended up... There's no way that I would watch that on Netflix because they wouldn't promote it in that way. Because when you're at a a discount bin, you're at the whims of your own fucking, desires and whims, right? Kubrick, surely this is a film about Stanley Kubrick.
But that's the thing. As a director myself, I only own one of Kubrick's films. I'm sorry to say. I mean... Love his work, but I only invest...
Hold on, we got one film. Let me give it a shot. Can I have a shot?
Okay.
Can I have a shot? Okay.
I've already said it, but okay.
Oh, you have said it already?
Yeah. But you're drunk, so it's fine. Go ahead.
Was it? No, so it wasn't Strange Love then. You didn't say that.
No.
So it's not Full Metal Jacket. You didn't say that. So it's 2001.
No.
Not Eyes Wide Shut.
No.
No. What is it then?
wasn't Clockwork Orange, it wasn't any of those. It was The Shining.
The Shining. You did say that earlier. Yeah, you did.
Because it was a video that I got off of. I went with my dad to the Video Easy store one time and said, I want to get a horror film, Dad. And he's like, okay. So I pointed at Carrie. He's like, you aren't there yet. I got there eventually. But I pulled up The Shining and he said, you might enjoy this one. And I'm like, ooh, it's R-rated. It's going to be really awesome. It's a snooze fest. But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, well, look,
all that slow building of suspense. Like, I got it.
Super slow building.
He was like in the kind of behind me, but he didn't want me to see Carrie for God knows what reason. But when I saw Carrie, I'm like, I am this character. I was in high school at the time, and I was like, I am so the black sheep of this group that I will never.
It's strange being the black sheep though, like from high school. Like that's why it's strange talking to you, right? Like because when you say that, you go, it was horrible at the fucking time.
Yes,
at the time it was fucking horrible.
If anyone,
but it shaped you in a way that allowed you to target what you're doing now. Without it, because you could easily argue without that torment, there's no way that you would have what you got now.
Strangely enough,
is that true?
Absolutely. The torment of the time, this is what I often think about with my psychologist and my therapist and my counsellor, is having that torment really gave me...
He's got 3 of them. I only go for 1 of them.
Shout out to all of you.
Are they hot? Are they hot?
They're very heady people.
Holy fuck.
No, now that I'm in my 30s, I think I look back on my teenage self as like, of course I had to go through that because it allowed me to really break away from giving a fuck what people think about me. Because
it's an important lesson.
People who are popular in high school kind of peak at that point, and they kind of think
interesting.
All of their importance is based on other people's interpretation of them. I kind of went under the radar of that. People being like fucking Davo, stuff him.
Yeah, but you're a social butterfly, right? You knew everyone at school, right?
Only of who to avoid. I was the kid in the early noughts who had the glasses, who had the stammer. I mean, think of my life at this point.
I sold weed to everyone.
God help us. You get a lot of it from a silent agreement. That very highly anxious, highly like any person looking at me sideways, I'm terrified of them at that age. It was a really high stress time for me, and I was always off either writing or masturbating, something else to be in my.
It's funny though you say that, like being off writing though,
yeah,
and masturbating. So you've made a film about masturbating.
You have,
right? But writing, right? So writing a feature film, like let's just get that into context, straight up. Let's just get that into context. So we're talking about short films and the extrapolation of that before.
Pin that, yep.
Okay, so 1 page, right, is generally a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, if it's dialogue, it's a minute. If it's action, that's like maybe 3.
You can have a line of dialogue saying a stampede of horses come over the hill. That can be a 20-minute shot. Who knows?
That's right.
But going on, yeah.
Yeah, but with that said, though, like generally to write a film with a minimum of 10 speaking parts, you've got 10 speaking parts, you're probably looking at about 130 pages. 130 pages of dialogue. Is that right?
Yes.
That's about right. So 130 pages of dialogue, so at 130 minutes to write, back to the craft, because you can talk about artistry, because artistry is the dream, right?
Yeah.
That's the dream, but the craft is the mechanical part, and those two things intersect at some point.
The artistry is being the acclaimed author. The craft is being the typist.
Yeah, you got to punch it out. You actually have to do
THE space.
You have to do the manual labour. It's manual labour, whether you like it or not.
It's a grind, Russ.
It's a fucking grind, right? So, how long does it take you to write a page of dialogue? Times 120. That's how long it takes you to make a feature film. No, sorry, to write.
To write it.
A feature film.
Okay.
So you haven't directed it yet. You've just written it.
People ask me that all the time. How long does it take you? I say,
because that's fucking prolific, man.
From the time of saying I'm going to make this film to the time of I present to you this film is usually about 12 months.
Yeah.
But with like Pagey, for example, that was years of gestation in my mind because I'm like, I have the idea for it, but I don't have that je ne sais quoi. I don't have that academic, psychological punch that's going to be like, people will get this. As more than just...
I guess what you're saying... let me frame it another way. That heavy realisation of what this means.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that another way to say it?
Of course. something which will matter to people more than just we're going to see your dick in this film. That's great.
We started out saying it was racy film.
It's quite
It was a racy film. But once we started talking about a racy film, you immediately took us towards the intellectualism of this film.
Which is that dichotomy of making it. Because I was very aware from early points of making Pagey that I wanted to really have the balance of it being very intellectual, but also very, I don't know, not racy, but just... We have a scene of sounding. Have you ever been
Dude, it's super fucking real.
Oh, yeah.
It's a super fucking real film.
We have a scene of sounding, which is when you have something put down your urethra. That feels really good, I'm sure.
All right, let's pull this bad boy up. Can you
God.
go... AJ, can you pull up that clip that we had on the desktop there?
So we have a exclusive clip from Pagey now, which doesn't have any sounding involved, but to those of you who are listening, it is when something's put down your urethra for sexual pleasure. I personally wouldn't know. It's not for me, but it's in there as one of these many expressions of sexuality.
I know this sounds terrible,
Have you been sounded, Ross?
I have. No, not me personally, but I've seen films that have shown this kind of pleasure, and it makes me cringe. Like, I'm like, whoa, I don't know about that. I don't know about urethra pleasure. Like, that's fucking intense, man.
Because it kind of mirrors our conversation right now, is there any sound on this?
So we're talking like Prince Albert sort of stuff, right? Here we go. Hey, can you whack some sound on that? All right, this is where you're like a public figure in this film, right?
This is me going in for my own
maintaining the position of all the egregious public figures.
Defense.
So you're saying any
Hey, Jay, can you stay on that for a little bit?
Sure.
I just got to go change the camera. I've got to go change the battery.
Reputation as a construct is when people who don't care about you think about you. So
I've seen this bit before.
To know us on a deep personal level anyway, I would say that reputation is one of my lowest priorities right now.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, given how much porn there is on the internet, I'm surprised anyone's paying attention to your video.
What do you want? 3?
It's not the best performance you've ever given. It's in low resolution. And frankly, you're not the best looking guy around. I'm surprised anyone's paying any attention to your video at all.
Look, I don't know who this Elliot Sinclair cockhead is, but he cannot just upload a wank video and pretend it never happened like some amateur hobbyist. I know, I fucking know. Every guy wants to be a porn star for a day, but let me tell you, this job ain't easy. To anyone curious about getting into the adult entertainment industry, here's a word of advice. You can't just pick and choose who gets access to all of this. You don't get to consent to who sees what or where you're making videos.
Mouse is moving there, Jay.
You do not get constant validation. That is so fucking typical.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Think that way. You can't lay down conditions and hold control over this stuff. That's fucking bullshit. You have to be a dirty little slut. And you've got
I don't know what happened there.
You have to suck it up and love
Look at it's moving around like it's got a mind of its own.
Fix it in post.
You have to be willing
Fix it
to
later.
be pegged
Use
like
this
a bed
clip
sheet
over
and
there.
blustery
No,
days
I can't
and let
fix it in
everybody
post 'cause
think
I'm
you
too
take
lazy.
it hard
I'll
like
do
a
it
badass bitch because any cunt can show his cock on the internet.
Any cunt can show his cock on the
You know what
internet.
body part Elliot should start showing?
Interesting. No, we
His
can.
penis.
But it
No,
is
we
spelled
can.
with the same letters.
His spine. That's
That's
why.
right. A
Ross, do you want to check
backbone
your
is
framing in your camera?
way sexier than people give it
You
credit
happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Check sharps, looks a bit.
Is it sharp?
Don't think so.
No, okay.
But you took that literally and physically.
Yuri, that's human
I'm gonna sit
nature.
in.
After so many years of evolution, we still have the same programming.
Human evolution isn't the issue here, Elliot. The rest of us don't squander our careers on some single sociopathic...
Now who's
display of
Ross?
decency.
Have you seen the early credits of most
me.
celebrities? They do whatever it takes to get attention. And people are
I'm sorry
still
that we're talking
exporting
over your
themselves
masterpiece.
every day to get
Fix in
likes
post.
and followers. But before the internet, people had to have
post.
talent.
I don't
They
have
had
the
to do
budget
something
for post.
remarkable. They had to be informed and up to date and relevant. These days, you only need to swallow detergent to be as vile as the clap.
And what did you do to get famous, Elliot? You achieved orgasm.
I know that guy.
Tim Mason Scott.
Mason Scott. I know that guy from somewhere.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
You might not have gotten a second
Work with him. He's wonderful.
Yeah, I've worked with him before. No, not worked with him, but I think he's been at the festival before.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah, he must have been. He's pretty familiar.
Yours wasn't. In fact, the sad truth is, this video is going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Now, if I'd known about you and working about Made in the West prior to making Pagey, I would have made this scene in the space with you.
Yeah, well,
Because this is the same setup. This is the same me opposite the guy. He's grilling me something terrible, and I'm like,
oh, dude, I would have totally done that for you. Well, I do a lot of productions for people, man. I really do. Like, a lot of it's unspoken. It's just what I do.
Here I am trying to get all real and down to earth with him, and he's like, that's what I have time for.
Oh, hey, Jay, can you go move that screen for me? Go move that screen for me.
Jay, could you please move that? He's drunk.
Oh, no. Now, what screen are we on? Yeah, no, he doesn't know. He's my first-time producer.
That's
He's
okay.
done a really good job.
Everyone's pissed in this studio tonight.
Oh, man, dude.
I'm
a little
doing
bit.
my best.
What screen are we on?
On you now.
On me. Jesus, are we not playing this anymore?
No.
Because it just ended. You want some more Prosecco?
I'll have a little bit more perspective. I'll have a little bit more.
Davo, can you come round more often?
You come around more.
You mean to your house or in front of the camera?
I'm just over here in general, man. You're a very vibrant character, and you have a lot of positive energy. And I have no doubt why your films take off the way they do, because that's what a director does. You need to embody that idea of creativity, and to do that requires. There's two methodologies, and you've probably run into them, and you've even spoken about them tonight. You could be the negative Nancy about that and crack a whip, get what you want. You can do that. Or you can roll people in the idea of what you're doing and bring them along for the journey. And I read you as the latter. I read you as someone that's I'm making this thing, and I don't care if you don't like it or not. I'm making this thing, and you're either in or you're out.
That's bullseye. I was bringing Pagey to my now husband, Richard Dillhouse. Hello, Richard. And
hey, Richard.
When we first got together, this was just after Shadows, so I was in a very what am I doing in this industry kind of space, and his response was because it makes you happy, babe. Keep doing it.
Dude, there's no other way that you can. I've met you before. I embraced you earlier as a newbie, right?
Oh God!
I knew that I met you before, but I wanted to. The reason that I did that is because I wanted to meet you afresh. And now that I've met you afresh, in this context, dude, more power to you, man. What you're doing is fucking insane, bro. And if no one's on for that ride, then they're missing out. They're just missing out. You've got stuff going on, man. That is something that should be followed, something that people should be a part of. And don't get me wrong, maybe at some point you'll be subordinate to ideas of getting that done. You don't need to be the leader of all of it all the way. But
no, I do. I really do.
I need world domination. No, but what I'm saying to you is that, man, you certainly bring a lot of energy to a room, and you certainly bring a lot of knowledge to a room. And I think that's really important, the knowledge side of things, because the saying goes, you can fake it till you make it. Mm-hmm. You can fake it till you make it, but once you make it, you still got to produce.
I always thought of it more as you can bake it until you make it. You can put in all the ingredients and just let it cook for a bit. Believe it's coming along, but just be patient, because when it comes to that first bite, it's so satisfying.
Oh, dude. Oh, look. But talking about satisfying, as well, to our listeners, just to let you know, you may see the embellished side of this conversation, but understand that there's also torment behind it.
Oh, yes.
There's also, but certainly, you talked about your second film. You're going to have negative repercussions of what you do. You're also going to have positive repercussions. The real choice is what optics you set on it. Are you going to choose the negative side of things, or are you going to choose the positive side of things?
I would be really cut if I'd got to this point in my career now and not had a film like Shadows happen to me at this point, because it'd be too good to be true then. Because I think Shadows was quite the reality check, whereas to follow it, A Silent Agreement was going back to what does Davo have to say? What is his story? And it's the most autobiographical story I've made to date. and it was also quite successful beyond what I'd ever planned. It was the first Australian film to be made with Auslan. It was picked up immediately for distribution.
Far out, bro.
Worldwide. And it's still making a buck today, which is... The only other thing I've made which has done that is my short film Complex back in 2013, which is about nudists.
Yeah, I watched this film. Yeah, I've
You've
seen
watched
this film.
it?
Yeah, I watched this film. Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I do a little bit of research, and I like to see. That's why, like, I guess I was being emotive before, like, because I talked about it being racing, and what I wanted is you to rebut that.
Oh, everybody who knows my stuff
Because,
knows
like, 'cause you can
that
go
there's
to-
dick in it. My God.
No, but like think about it seriously. Like,
Yeah.
you can go to it and go, "Hey, this is just a racy thing that's just trying to get attention." And what I'm trying to do is go, "Hey, it's a little bit more than that, actually." So I was playing a devil's advocate in that, and I must be honest to my audience about that. Like, yeah, I know what I was doing there, and I just say that the voice that you have in this spectrum is valid, and you should keep pursuing what you're doing. Like, you are making headway. And a lot of us don't understand that we're making headway, myself included. You know, we're so harsh on ourselves. We're so harsh about that shot that wasn't right.
Are we though?
Yeah, we're so harsh on that edit that didn't quite take, or that performance that didn't quite work. But that's not the whole spectrum of what we're doing. That what we're doing is what we're talking about tonight, man. It's about, like, celebrating the idea of having a voice. It's celebrating the idea of, like, hey,
Having a voice. Exactly. That's what I was doing with the Silent Agreement, was because the character of Ruben, he is finding his voice and he is becoming a filmmaker. It was all very life-limiting art, but it was also me as a filmmaker reclaiming what I do after Shadows, being like, I can be trampled, but I will still, as the film says, as a Maya Angelou callback, you can, that's right, you can trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. And I thought that was so spot on I thought at the time, because I'd have these people who were so in my face telling me what I could not do and showing me that you will fail at every step of the way. And I'm like, but I could also
disagree.
not.
I just disagree.
I could also come through it kind of like, maybe not unscathed, but like, I might just survive this. Could you believe that? So when I made A Silent Agreement, it was me saying, yes, I stammer. Yes, I have all these things about me that people might think, oh, well, that's a weakness, that's a vulnerability. That's
Yeah, we can poke that. We can poke that. We can bring it down.
Like, here's me on the cross.
Yeah, but tall poppy syndrome.
Also, maybe I'm just doing my shit.
Well, this is what we need to do as Australians, right? Is get over that tall poppy. Yeah, we do. As Australians, we need to get over this tall poppy syndrome fucking deal. We need to celebrate those that are winning.
As a species, we do.
We need to celebrate those that are winning, man. Like, and I've experienced this personally. Like, why should I buy your merch? Like, well, do you support what I do? Yeah. Then why did you even bring that up as a question?
I'm struggling as a film person.
Just buy it or not buy it. It's meritocracy, man. If you like it, you don't like it. You either like it or you don't like it, man. Like, if you're into this thing, be a part of this thing. We're not asking for anything more than that. Like, if you're suffering the idea of Australian content, if you're suffering the idea that I wish there was more things out there that were more relatable to me. In Western Sydney, in Sydney abroad, in fact, you don't have to look too far. So, like, we get comments about, oh, it's really great that you guys have been diverse. It's really great that you guys are representing women and LGBTQ environments, and you're like, that's not what we do. What we do is promote content. It doesn't matter the guy that made that content was gay, a female, a woman of colour, or
all the above.
Yeah, whatever tick box that you're looking for, it doesn't actually matter. What actually matters is the story that they're telling. Is that story relevant to the zeitgeist of what we're actually trying to progress as humanity? Are we trying to be better people or not?
So we move on then to The Blood of God, my fourth feature, which is...
Fourth feature? Bring this shit up, bro. I thought we had 15 minutes to go. Turns out we got half an hour.
Yes, we do. So, exactly as you were saying with The Blood of God, it was me bringing up a story which was universal. People saying, I have this idea of my values and of of what I believe in. So Blood of God is about a Christian boy, played by my now husband Richard Littlehouse, who goes.
Is your husband hot? We're going to check it out.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Is this your bro?
No,
That's not him. I know this guy.
that's Matthias Clever.
I know. Oh, I know Matthias. Man, I want to interview him.
Do it.
Yeah. I've never seen him with the full beard.
Yes, he was very reticent to grow this for Blood of God. But
He
did
normally
it for-
does the goatee.
He normally is almost totally bald. But so my partner there
Yeah,
on
I
the
know
left,
this guy.
Richard has heterochromia, so his eyes are different
All right, where's your
colours.
fella?
There, he's crying there, right there. On the left. That's him.
Okay, he's hot.
Yeah. he has heterochromia.
You let off the hook. You let off the hook.
So it's there. His left
You're
eye is
punching
blue.
above your. You're punching above your weight, bro.
His left eye is blue, his right eye is brown. You notice that?
I know. I love you, and I've like, you know, we've interacted before. I'm just saying, you're punching above your weight, bro.
That's the thing with Richard. I somewhat married well. He has.
You have.
He is so sweet. He's so delightful. He is tiny. He's like sort of up to my chest. He's so small as a person, but he's so full of love. He's a little pocket rocket. And people are always taken aback by the fact that his left eye is. His left eye is brown. His right eye is blue. So from us, it's left right. But with Blood of God, it was me bringing him as an actor.
I know all these actors. This is really weird. You weird me out, bro.
With this one,
And this is your husband, yeah?
Yeah, it's him. Oh, he's
Yeah, no,
gorgeous.
you're definitely punching above your weight, bro. Like, he's better looking than you.
Oh, he's also a very good kisser, so. But above all, he loves me, and that's the most important thing.
Oh, look, man, you know, we talk about, like, you know, how the world works. And a lot of people say, like, you know, money makes the world go round. And I don't believe it's true.
The funny thing is, the world would still go around if we were all broke.
No, but love, cooperation makes the world go round. Love makes the world go round. Celebrating our differences, celebrating who we are as individuals, and celebrating who we are as a collective. That's what makes the world go round.
With the Blood of God, I was telling the story of a bloke who is very Christian
I know that guy as well.
having a moment where he has to question his faith. So a lot of bad shit happens to him. He gets HIV positive. He gets
shot. Dude, this is beautifully shot as well.
Thank
like,
you.
fucking hell.
This is
Who was your DOP on this one?
This was Baby Zakarovsky. He was on Blood of God, Complex of all things, my nudist film, and yeah, I know, right?
Get nude, baby.
Funnily enough, he was the only person on set who was not nude for Complex, but no.
Well, he was. Like, when a cinematographer is nude on set, you
He
know that
didn't
it's
nude
fucking
up.
serious,
he
bro.
didn't nude up, and it was like everyone else was. Why the fuck weren't you, man?
Fucking disappointing. Even the lighting guy showed up with his junk out.
He was.
Like, yeah.
Behind the scenes of Complex, everyone on set was nude other than fucking Bebby. I mean, come on, man.
Fucking hell, man.
But again, he's
Good
Macedonian.
mind.
He's Massa, so I get it. But everyone else was, and this was why making Complex back in 2013.
Yeah, but they got good genes. They got good genes, man. They do look sexy
Well, he
on
fills
camera.
his genes very well too, if you know what I mean.
They look good on camera, bro. They just do.
Ah, the wogs, hot, sexy wogs. I love Western Sydney, don't you? Anyway, moving on.
Fucking hell, bro. All right, where are we at? Where are we at?
Blood of God. So full feature film.
All right.
This was me getting into like, okay, what's gonna be so divisive? Religion. So talking about Blood of God, I was talking about religion. I had a friend.
Fuck, man.
Yeah. I had a friend who watched this film, and she was expecting it to be.
Next thing you're going to tell me that Santa Claus isn't real.
Of course he is. What are you saying?
Oh, thank God.
With Blood of God, this person thought it would be a really anti-Christian movie because, you know, there's prostitutes in it, and it's all about, you know, HIV stuff, blah, 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 blah.
Dude.
It's so not. It is so the opposite of that.
Yeah, but Jesus hanging around a lot of prostitutes.
Exactly. That is such a point I make with it. Even
Oh, no, look, let me be really controversial here. I'm
please do.
sorry.
Yes, please do.
allow me to be controversial.
on YouTube, bring it on. Get demonetized, Ross. Go on.
I think Jesus was gay.
Well, he hung around 12 men all the time, so why not?
Yeah. Well, okay, so he hung around with 12 men all the time. Never got married. Never had kids.
Mary Magdalene said, I don't know how to love him.
Inherited his family business.
And he was always at the cross.
Oh, look.
come on,
no, that was good. That was good. No, but in all seriousness, man, like, you know, no heterosexual man is that compassionate.
And that's the saddest part of all.
What's not sad?
Come
It's just
on,
reality.
straighties,
It's
show
just
us some
reality.
love.
Like, don't get me wrong, heterosexual men can be compassionate. I'm not saying that they can't, but just not as much as Jesus.
The problem is here that if you straight guys don't step up and actually show more compassion, we gay guys are going to take over the world from you. So you better step up, guys.
Oh,
Come
look,
on.
I'm a straight dude, and I literally don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, look, I mean, like, I give a care to a point of, are you pursuing your right to happiness? And if that encroaches on someone else not getting their right to happiness, then it's out of order.
Oh, hold on. So the thing about that, okay, I'm sure if it wasn't 2 Prosecco's in, I could maybe get this right, but...
Man, I'll do a third one if you want.
We will. But those who are listening to me, I'm going to get this so wrong, I apologize.
But I'm just saying, to bring clarity to where we're at. If you should have the right to pursue happiness.
Somebody has
whatever
said somewhere...
whatever that is, I don't need to understand it. Like, because I'm a straight dude. Like, I can't understand homosexuality.
Just once in your life, Ross, suck a dick and get over it. So somewhere...
Well, I can't. It's just not my bag, baby. Like,
I was just there yawning and it just fell in there. I'm like... Oh,
yeah, but the way that you think about dick is the way that I think about pussy. You know what I mean?
I don't get any?
But those that don't even think about it...
The sad truth is, Ross, that I've had more pussy than you've had dick, so that's even more scary.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know if you know me well.
I've had some pussy in my life. Have you had some dick in your life?
I don't know.
Have you?
No, I don't do the dick.
You're only on a public platform right now. Have you or not had some dick in your vicinity?
No. Oh, no.
I've had pussy in my vicinity, so I'm kind of beating you there, Ross.
It depends what you mean by vicinity.
Ooh, okay, now we're getting technical.
Semantical.
Let's move on. So...
where I'm pointing my dagger
yeah.
is definitely in, filleting ladies.
Okay.
That's really horrible and Ted Bundy-like, but, we'll back away from that.
I've been in situations with a lot of male-female group environments, and I have been places...
Deep here, folks.
Balls deep. And I don't know if you're quite ready for all that yet, Russ.
What? Like, what you mean homosexuality or?
No, of just exploring your sexuality in general, which is about public eye. We're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah,
man.
see, here's the strange thing, like, because I like to fuck with people just for fun.
Fuck with or fuck people?
Both.
Okay.
But mainly fuck with. You know, because I'm in a monogamous relationship. Love my lady.
Yep.
I'm with my lady, and that's it. But
Shout out to Misty.
But with that said, doesn't mean I don't like to fuck with people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so homosexual lines are really interesting. It's really interesting to fuck with people, especially you are devout heterosexual bloke.
Devout heterosexual bloke. I know a few of these. Go ahead.
No, but it's easy. It's easy to unpack. Like, let's go on a journey.
For the first time ever on YouTube, let's do this.
Let's do a journey. Okay, so you go to a bloke and you go, well, do you like gay porn? And they'll go, no.
That's a different story, though, man.
No, hold on. Give me some breathing room.
Okay.
Give me some breathing room.
Allow
me to unpack this.
Okay.
Allow me to unpack this. It's going to a good place. You'll be oh, yeah, give me more of that.
You need more Prosecco in your life.
Yeah, I do. So you go to a heterosexual male and you go, so do you like gay porn? And they'll go, no. They'll be very apprehensive. Straight up, no. So you won't watch two men
fucking
on screen. That's repulsive to you? They'll go, yeah, don't like it.
Just isn't my thing, he'll say.
I go, all right. What about two women together on film? Is that okay?
Lesbos? Ugh.
They're like, oh, well...
Scissors.
I don't mind two women on film together. Okay, we've established some homosexuality tendency there. That's okay. So you don't like seeing dudes fucking dudes. Granted, fine. That's cool. But you don't mind seeing two women together. So you're not against same-sex interaction. Just not male-male interaction. It's just women and women together is okay. That's fine. They'll be like, yeah, all right. So what about heterosexual porn? Like, do you like watching
A guy fucking
a guy fucking a girl, and you'd be like, oh, okay. They like that. You go, okay, so when you're watching this porn, do you like really big hard dicks? Or do you like really small cocks? To be like, I like really big hard.
Oh no.
Alright, okay. We found another line. Because you could argue with most heterosexual males that masturbate to pornography are looking at what they would refer to in pornography as airtight. Right? So that's like every entrance is catered for. Right? That's a nice way to put it. I think I've put it really nicely. So you're like seeing big hard dicks in women, and if it's not a big hard dick, you're not into it, right? You're like, no, that's not what I mean. Like,
I'm struggling to think of a porno I've seen where the guy wasn't hard. But go on.
Find a porno that there was a small dick that was hard involved. It's hard to find that. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it does.
Look beyond the professional. Look at more the amateur stuff. You'll find all sorts of body types.
Yeah, but this is where you find that homosexual line. They'll say, like, I can't handle watching porn without really big dicks in it. Like, it sounds really gay, bro. I'm just saying, you can't watch porn without really big dicks in it. I'm not saying that you enjoy really big dicks. So I'm just saying that you enjoy really big dicks.
Let's flip this up and around. As the gay guy watching the porn, I can watch straight porn because I'm like, the guy is really gorgeous. I'm like, hell yeah. And I don't get phased at all about seeing the woman because I'm like, look, it isn't for me personally, but I'm like, that doesn't bother, upset, or offend me at all. I'm like, power to her. Whereas the straight guy's like, I don't actually want to see the dick and like make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's like we gay guys are so much more evolved.
I just don't understand
we don't give a
it.
fuck.
I can't begin to understand it. Like, my perception of pussy is like relentless.
Relentless
really,
perception.
It's relentless. Like
Perception or pursuit.
Oh, like as a single bloke. Oh, Jesus Christ!
We are single now, so watch out.
But like, just
You're a married man, Ross.
just trying to avoid the idea of pussy.
Okay.
Is near impossible. Like, I don't know how gay guys deal with it. I just don't know. Because gay guys would understand. Like, you're a pig and I'm a pig, and we can be pigs togetget. Like, it's
That's
like surely
so
is that
spot on?
Is that true?
That's so spot on. Okay.
Because don't get me wrong. Like I'm just like dicks for me are like quite ugly. Like
Oh, they are, but so's pussy.
They are too.
So give me a moment here on the.
All right. Let's unpack this. Let's unpack this a little bit.
Give me a moment.
We're getting deep here. We're getting deep.
Balls deep.
We're balls deep beyond film here. Shit, man. Fuck.
We'll get back there eventually, though. But hang with us. So
they will hang out. You'll be right. You'll be right.
And those of you who are watching this, you know this is what you wanted as content. Okay, so people talk about how you put two men in a room together who are both gay. It's like, hey mate, you wanna have sex? Maybe it's like, oh, wow, I'm feeling kind of horny. Like maybe we could. Okay, cool. So the two guys have no strings attached. Just fulfilling a
relentless,
sex.
string attached sex.
Bare back, make the need.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah. Whereas
this is a heterosexual dream.
And this is changing now, thankfully, but like at a time, you had to kind of wine, dine, 69 the girl. And so that's Alanis Morissette.
That's a good nail in the head.
So you had to go for
no, but you got to understand. Like, I don't want to get too graphical here, but like,
I'll go on.
You got to understand, like, from a debaucherous man.
2.5% go for it.
I'm worried about eating pussy. I'm like, man, you haven't even started. You're worried about eating pussy?
Personally?
No. Like, to another heterosexual man, they go, You're worried about eating pussy? Like, eat the ass, eat the up, eat the pussy, eat the whole fucking thing, man. I don't give a fuck. You're worried about eating pussy as a fucking 18-year-old? You gotta fucking broaden your fucking horizons, bro. Like, you really do. Like, that's just the way of the world. Like, I imagine the same in the gay community, right? Like, you can't, like, there's a level of prudishness. Like, I imagine in the gay world it's more like...
Okay.
Those that are unsure versus those that are sure, like...
What's the question here? Because you're covering a lot of ground here. So let's
I know.
Okay. I want to point out that in the gay community, we have establishments where for like $20, you can go in...
I didn't know we were going here, but we're going here.
We're going here. For $20, you can go into this establishment, and for, I don't know...
Is this legal?
Fully legal, 8 hours plus, you can be amongst other men of whatever...
Sounds hot!
Whatever orientation they might be, whatever persuasion they might identify to, and you can have either anonymous encounters or just social back and forths as you please in a
I like the latter a little bit better.
Clothing optional situation. You straight guys don't get this. You either have to go to a whorehouse and pay $200 a pop, or date.
Oh, look, I've been fortunate enough in my life never have to pay for it, but
same.
Not everyone's like that.
Not everybody is as good looking as we are.
No, they're not.
Just straight up.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. Like, what's the way to put it? Like, I don't like my attraction to women is insatiable. Like,
Ditto for blokes with me. Yeah, it never stops.
Yeah, no, but it is. It never stops. Like,
I fall in love every day.
Yeah, no, it's strange. Like, even with my wife, like, I fall in love with her every fucking day. It's grotesque. Like, how can someone have that kind of effect on me? But I don't imagine a male having that kind of effect, because there's different connotations to it.
With you personally, or just in general?
In me personally.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I just don't understand, look, let me rephrase that. I understand how crazy that can be, but I don't understand the craziness of it to the same sex. I only understand the craziness to the opposite sex. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Like you can't judge one to the other.
No.
Because they're both the same insanity. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you talk about difference, that's where the similarity is. Is that drive? Is it like, I just need to have a fucking orgasm, man?
Yeah.
Right?
I've been there.
But that sensation would be driven by different motivators. And the motivator for me is like, oh man, like, even women's tits look like fucking targets, right? Like, I hone in on that. I have to do the polite look away. Like, oh shit, I'm not looking at cleavage. Shit. I have to do the polite thing and try not to be a male. Or let me rephrase that.
Oh my god. Okay.
A heterosexual male. But if I was a gay dude, I'd be like, holy shit, look at that fucking shit.
If you were a gay dude...
And if they were on the same ledger, I'd be like, oh, that would be intense. Because it's just not the same world in the heterosexual
I hate to point it out to you,
spectrum.
Ross, but there's so much more freedom amongst the gay community because it's like...
I bet. That's why they're called gay. Gay means happy.
Because...
Why are they called fucking gay?
Because if
Because they're fucking happy, bro.
We are. You put two
They're
men
fucking
together...
stoked, man. If you haven't been to the gay Mardi Gras, they're fucking happy, man. Like, they've had to put a ban on glitter. That's how fucking happy they are. They had to put a ban on glitter. That's how fucking happy the gay community are.
What the hell is in this stuff?
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the heterosexuals aren't out there fucking flicking glitter around. Like, there's no holds barred for
You should be so lucky to
relationship.
fly the glitter around. The thing with gay
But
men
one of the
is,
best
though,
events you can go to is the gay fucking Mardi Gras.
I don't know.
Gay or
Okay.
straight. Gay or straight. That's one of the best events you can go to.
I don't know if that's totally representative of...
Gotcha. You got me earlier, though. We're even, bro. You got me earlier.
Representative of our culture.
You're a sweetheart. I love you.
I personally am not all
I'm gonna
that...
hang out with you all the fucking time, bro. You're a fucking scream.
I personally am not all that fussed about the Mardi Gras because it's a whole other gayness to my gayness, because mine isn't about. Okay, very controversial moment here.
Yeah, but you're subtle gay. You're not super gay.
Oh, have you seen me when I'm after dark? My
I'll
God.
I'll give it a red hot shot,
Okay.
bro.
I've made public eye. There's a film of me that exists now with a full rager on film.
Weren't you heterosexual in that film?
Sorry?
Weren't you heterosexual in
I
that
was.
film?
I was.
Yeah, see, it's totally
I'm a very good
believable.
actor, Ross.
Yeah, but I believe you to be heterosexual, but...
Thank you.
Your chemistry are tense, bro. I love you, but...
But again, you can see me butt naked with a rager, and it's like, okay, most
Camp is the right word, camp.
I am not camp. Thank you for all the same.
You're nowhere near camp. That's my point.
And so
It doesn't
people
matter. We have the both desire for fucking happiness, man.
people see the Mardi Gras like, oh, camp is the best. Like, personally, I'm not camp, and I just want to put this out into the universe that when I was growing up, the idea that you have to be camp to be happily gay was not.
Expectations.
No.
See, these expectations are weird. See, I get picked up all the time because I'm neat. I'm clean. I'm put together. And all of a sudden, I'm not interested in women. I'm like, you have no idea the torment of my heterosexuality.
The torment of my heterosexuality.
No, but seriously, I'm like, because as an artist, right, like
Yeah.
you pursue art, you have like, just say you had 100 credits in energy,
Okay.
right? So you go, okay, so my sexuality takes up 30 credits. And you go, okay, so my workforce takes up 40 credits. That allows me this many credits to be who I am, right? And the ambiguity of gay-straight relations may change the effect of those units.
There are people who would see my work and be like, would this be the same work if he was heterosexual as opposed to homosexual? I don't know.
I just don't think that. I think that the meritocracy of whether you made a good movie or not should stand.
People will see my work and they're like, Davo, why is there always nudity involved? It's like, because I'm very comfortable with that. Maybe that's a part of my upbringing. I don't know. But my parents didn't give me any kind of like censorship when it came to watching television or whatever. SBS after 10 o'clock was my jam.
Yeah, well, you can watch like subtitles follow an erection in those sort of
Yeah,
because they actually upscale the.
But you see how that influenced my
They did it as satire on Fast Forward and what was the word? Rewind.
Yeah.
I think it was called Rewind. No, what was it called?
Fast Forward and
the comedy company.
Okay.
They do these as jokes, right? But they're actually emulated from reality. Well, they actually change the subtitle level depending on the nudity within the film.
Kind of bring it up towards the middle of the frame.
Yeah, so in more gay sex scenes, you would see the subtitles double-lined rather than single-lined.
We'll talk about more about the gay stuff soon, Ross, I promise.
Oh, look, hey, I'm happy to explore. Let's like I'm an astronomer. I like to look at Uranus. Like I I like to have a good gander. But my point is that honesty, authenticity. You can go to these spectrums and you can argue those are the to and fro. Maybe the story is more about colloquial Australiana ideas of heterosexuality in the normal constraints of high school life. Or you could write a really cool movie instead. But
So I did. I can finally get there. Thank you, Ross.
I know. I'm being an asshole, but I'm being a nice guy at the same time.
And you've asked me here to talk about this, so I will. So we get to after the blood of God and talking about religion of all things, which, by the way, is brought to you not as an anti-Christian thing.
It's
but
not
as
anti-Christian. Everyone,
at all.
don't be dicks. Just be cool.
The whole thing with that was being able to talk about Christianity and also not Christianity. So
Fill me up, baby. Fill me up.
we
We
talk
good? We good?
Yeah, we talk about Christianity and also about just what's it called? Theology, which is about the study of God. So that's what Public Eye is about.
Monotheism.
Up.
Hush now.
So after Blood of God, we go on to Public Eye, which began as me saying to Richard in our early dating ship, I want to make this film, babe, but it requires me to be on film with an erection. What do you think? He's like, I'm behind this.
I can tell you, I've done 3 courses in censorship. That's a hard one to... sorry, I used the word hard there. That's a difficult scenario to erect, if you will.
May I just point out that as Davo Hardy, it comes with the name.
He's a little bit tricky, kids. He's a little bit tricky.
So Davo
Watch out,
Hardy
folks.
has
Watch out, folks.
the Hardy in it and the V, the hard V in Davo. It's right there.
No, back to the point.
Yes, so when making Pagey, I'm like, cool. I didn't actually want to play the lead myself. This is really surprising, but I actually didn't want to be this guy. I sourced other actors. I sourced people who did porn, who wanted to get into acting. And I'm like, who is out there who can show a hard dick
That's
on
an
film?
awesome fence to be sitting on, by the way.
And may I
I've
say,
been on that fence before.
some porn actors are really good people. May I put that out there?
Not reliable. Not reliable.
No.
They're not reliable.
Some are wonderful people.
Dedicated?
Those of
Give
you
them
who I've
that.
spoken to, you know I love you.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
I absolutely do. But when it came very clear to me that I had to play the lead, I'm like, I'm going to step up. I'm going to do this. So you can imagine me on the first day. 'Cause
You know, it's good to have that spectrum, though. Like, man, if you want in, you're in. You just got to show up, baby.
I'm a believer in I wouldn't ask anything else of my other actors that I wouldn't do myself. So on day one...
Me
of Pagey,
neither. Yeah, totally. I think that's a really big aspect, right? Never ask any actor that you wouldn't do yourself.
With
You
Pagey,
have to. And I think that's a really big part of you being an actor in your films as well.
It was day one that we
Yeah.
shot the masturbation scene, and I had the whole crew around me who had all kind of come to the cast and crew meet and greet before we got shooting. But when it came to actually shooting it, I'm like, guys, we've reached that scene in the script. Let's just have the set just come to center. Everyone just breathe. I'm going to get my kit off now, and I'm going to get some lube on me, and I'm going to go for it. Are we all good for this? One take, God willing. And for the next 2 or 3 hours, we're just shooting me having a tug, and it was really like I was there.
Abrupt? Is that the word, abrupt?
No. It was anything but abrupt. there I was as a filmmaker trying to be like, okay, let's just have an out-of-body experience for a moment here. Here I am in front of my entire cast and crew behind the camera there. I'm butt naked. I'm raging hard. And I'm like, okay. This is my career now. And this is a film which
It's
I really...
okay. I've got an iPhone 13 that is going to do it in 1080p, baby. We can do this on
shot
Snapchat. We can do it on Snapchat, man.
We shot Pagey in 4K. Give me a break. So there I was, and I'm like, okay, most of this crew I haven't worked with before, but they're going to see a lot of me. And if you watch carefully, not too carefully, but if you watch carefully in Pagey, I actually give a cum shot. So
Get the fuck out of here. No, the fuck way.
I give a cum shot.
No
so,
bullshit.
No, it's there. It's there.
You do a money shot on this.
I do.
No.
Go see
No.
it July 9 at the Chevelle Theatre.
No, he is full of shit. He is full of shit. He does not have a money shot at this. Are you serious? Are you serious?
We earned that R rating.
No way.
Hook, line, and sinker.
How the fuck did you... Okay, let me just...
I'll show you.
No. But I'll unpack it with you, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I do like a lot of film releases and I do a lot of brokerage.
Yep.
So you can do 4 films.
Yep.
Without censorship. 4 films
4 films.
per state.
Okay.
So you can do like film release around the country.
Mm.
As long as you do 4 and no more. No more than 4. You don't need classification, readership. It's outside the realms. Here's another fucking trick. Right? Just for you fucking budding filmmakers out there. If your film was a part of a film festival, it doesn't count as a release. Oh no! This is why we're falling in love.
Intermission. I need to have a slash. Hold on.
All right. This is why we're falling in love.
The guy is showing on July 9 at the Chevelle Theatre. The same place where it premiered about 6 months ago to great acclaim. And this is why when I made it, I was very inspired and driven to make it because it was more than just a glorified sex tape. It is a exercise in intellectual intercourse. So you'll get a lot of smart, profound dialogue, a lot of references to all things psychological, but also you get to see a few tits as well. So everyone's happy. Everyone's catered for. You will love it. It's worth the $25. I guarantee you that. It's also a comedy, so you'll have some great laughs along the way. All of my films are very shortly going to go on to effectively Davo Hardy Films. .com, I suppose. I'm basically just sort of, after all these years of having such successful films and each one of them clocking out their distribution contracts, I'm like, okay, I'm going to save myself the 12-month renewal debacles and just make my own website, stream them there, behind a paywall, of course, because, guys, I need to afford these clothes I wear. My God. So that's
We're going to check you out. We're going to check you out together.
Yes. I also realized I've actually put this on between shots, so continuity issue. But do check out just Davo Hardy Films. It'll be up by the time this thing comes out. And on to the next projects.
Well, dude, that Prosecco has gotten way too much to my head, and I've got to go. But anyway, you guys have been watching The Pagey Train. You can check us out on Spotify. That's right, video on Spotify. You can also check us out on YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio or Apple iTunes. You've been watching The Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. Oh, fuck, I finally got that done. Jesus Christ. So laboured. Fuck me, that was really intense.